What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Calyx. I'm your host, Becca Scott, and tonight we're playing Call of Cthulhu. This stream is sponsored by Chaosium, the incredible publishers of Call of Cthulhu. Such a fan of their products, and so grateful that they are sponsoring this show. And if you want to take part in our sweet discount code, go to chaosium.com, and when you're checking out, use code Calyx2021 to get 10% off your whole order. You can only use that code once, but maybe if you private message me, then I'll tell you the old code, which is the Calyx, which you could also use once for 10% off. So there you go. Tonight's scenario, we're doing a follow-up from last week's adventure, and this is from Masks of Nyarlathotep. This one. It's actually a 2-volume series, and it comes in what looks like 3 books, because that's what I said last week when I'm full of nonsense. It has this incredible keeper screen for the whole scenario, which is chapters upon chapters, and so we're just doing the Peru chapter, and I'm excited to get into it. Without further ado, I would love to bring in my incredible guests, because we have a lot to cover this evening. Okay, so she is a streamer, a cosplayer, a doer of all the things, a writer, works for Magic the Gathering, which is just so freaking cool in itself. Let's say hello to Lauren Bond.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
So
glad to have you back.
Have I unmuted myself? Yes, I did that. Great.
You did it all right. Oh, and I just closed all of my notes for the entire show. Good job, Becca. We got it back.
That's what improvising's for.
You know what? I think I could do it. No notes. Let's go. Every NPC, they've got a name, and it's not going to sound like Flumpalapagus.
It's all right. I have a tendency of accidentally picking celebrity names as my NPCs, entirely unintentionally.
Brendan Fraser has stepped into the building.
Because I'm like, Brandon, okay, can't be someone I know. Gotta come up, and then just, the first name that pops into your head.
Julia, I forgot all the famous Julias.
Child? Roberts?
There you go. Yeah. I'm known for making up.
Can't pick Julia Roberts. She's famous. Julia Child. Dang, she's also famous.
Hey, the brain jumps to what it knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to tell a story about the book I'm reading about the brain, but I realized we have a lot of show to get through. So we should bring in our next guest. Another streamer. You can find her pretty much every day of the week, 4 days a week, streaming all kinds of variety games. She's an actor. Just a great talent, a great joy to be around. Fills my heart with joy to hear her beautiful voice. It's Erika Fermina.
Hi.
Hi. I was just thinking about the fact that my husband met you over a Discord voice chat in quarantine, and we just refer to you as nice voice Erika.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's a fact. It is a fact.
Oh, thank you.
How are you doing today?
I want to know who nice voice Erika is. That just...
Oh, well, it wasn't in comparison to other Erikas. Okay. Just in comparison to, I don't know, mean voice Becca? That's how I refer to myself.
That doesn't sound right.
Trust me, it's right.
Oh, there it is.
It's right. Wait for it. It's gonna be so right. Anyway, that's what happens when you play around with filters before the show. Erika, thank you so much for coming back. And I'm excited to have you reprise Jennifer, the runaway debutante.
Oh, yes. I'm very excited. But also
and Lauren,
a little nervous.
Well, she seems to be very adventurous. Maybe goes insane a little bit here and there, but for the most part, down for adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And Lauren, just to quickly introduce the brawling botanist once more, Renee.
She is a very normal PhD student.
Normal, you mean talks to plants and...
Is it? Yep. Yes. Who doesn't talk to their plants? Really?
It's just the one weird thing.
Mm-hmm. Also the bar fights she gets into.
That's just defending your territory. I'm down for it.
Exactly.
All right, without further ado, we must bring in our third and final guest for this evening. The incredible, the things get diciest, the most talented comedian and writer in the biz. It's Paula Dimming.
Well, I don't know about in the
specific
biz.
niche biz of
I was saying, which biz are we
comedians,
talking about?
the Venn diagrams of board games and comedians.
You know what? I'll accept it. Thank you for the very kind compliment and someone finally recognizing. No.
Finally.
Finally.
Never mind. What am I doing here?
Hi. I'm excited to be back. I love this show. I love playing this game with you. I'm excited.
Stop it. Do you mean?
Yeah.
You're playing Miranda May. Tell us more about Miranda.
That's right. Well, Miranda, grew up as a street urchin, but now has a wealthy benefactor who pays her monthly bills for her to go and occasionally source strange, weird, old items for her. So that is what brought Miranda onto this archaeological adventure. And has she had some weird run-ins with strange otherworldly things in the past? Yes. Has it made her a little paranoid? Maybe. She's also real tall, everyone. So just, she's like, what'd we say last week? 6'5", something like that.
6'5", just the right height.
She plays basketball, obviously.
First to know when it rains. What other tropes
First
you
to
got?
know.
Well, friends, should we jump right into some Call of Cthulhu?
Yeah.
Okay, great. It's going to be really happy and not scary at all.
I don't believe you.
You're muted, Lauren.
You didn't need to hear what I was saying. I'm just making a face that I also don't believe you.
Cool. Well, we'll see what happens. So, to recap, in case we have any viewers that are brand new and missed last week, and just for my adventurers here to remember all of the many things that have happened, each of you answered the call to adventure in Peru, seeking treasure or archaeological discoveries, or just, wanting to seek out the highlands of Peru and see a different part of the world. Each of you arrived to meet the expedition's leader, Augustus Larkin, a man with a somewhat British accent. We'll go with that. And okay, maybe I didn't play it that way, but yeah, it's fine. And you met his strangely reserved companion, Luis de Mendoza. You met them at the Bar Cordana, along with the other adventurer, who you now know was Jackson Elias, even though he was going by a pseudonym. You learned later on that he is a well-known author, a renowned author that Renee has actually read and had the book in her possession. Of course, got it signed. But Augustus briefed you on how he would like to run this expedition. He knows, and only he knows, the secret location of a lost pyramid. A pyramid first discovered by the conquistadors, and he had 2 artifacts made of gold that he explained he had purchased from someone in the highlands, and I wanted to bring people to this place to help him uncover what was there and share in whatever discoveries were to be found or whatever treasures were to be found. As soon as he left, after taking somewhat ill, as Renee was first to notice with a medicine roll, and noticed that it may be the symptoms of withdrawal from opioids, he needed to hightail out of there along with his companion Luis, and Jackson Elias stuck around to ask each of you what you thought of this adventure and his intentions. You also learned that Jackson is researching a book on cults. He's already, of course, been published about cults, and he believes a death cult has chosen this lost pyramid as their place of worship. So he's seeking more information to write his new book. You went with him to the University and Museum to meet with his friend Nemesio Sanchez, the professor. He was very gracious host to you and told you all about the locals' outrageous belief in something called the Karasiri, fat-sucking vampires. While you were there, you took a little jaunt down to the basement storeroom, and in between the shelves of artifacts and different cases, you found a man running and, of course, tried to apprehend him. But once you did, his
course.
mouth turned into a gaping hole filled with hundreds of glistening fangs as each of you...
It was horrible.
Yeah,
It attacked me.
Describe to me how the combat went briefly. Someone take it over.
really.
It was great at first. I mean, we knocked him down. We tackled him. I was holding him down with my knee. I had his shoe jabbed into him. And then somehow, anyway, he whipped around, knocked me down, and started trying to, I don't know, eat me?
Don't forget that his head turned
All
all
the-
the way around.
I had
yeah, there
forgotten.
was that
Thank you.
part.
I had chosen to block it from my memory.
you
And
also
now I've got it again.
Then our lives were saved by Jennifer Smallwood. Jennifer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I was like, suddenly got your name wrong. Jennifer Smallwood.
Stiletto.
Stabbing him in the head with a high-heeled stiletto. It was great.
It was pretty good. But that fool's not dead. There was
Well,
something moving
this
in his
is true.
stomach, and I'm pretty sure I heard a heartbeat. So I don't think Luis de Mendoza, the vampire, is actually dead.
That's right. You recognized him as the man who had been the companion of your expedition leader. So you went to confront Augustus Larkin at his hotel. Jennifer had found a hotel key, but went temporarily mad after trying to perform mouth to mouth and larva coming out and trying to climb into her mouth, running away in fear, only to be helped by the professor and your friend Elias upstairs. Then Miranda discovered movement in the corpse's body, as you mentioned. You also discovered the mutilated and emaciated corpse of the professor's research assistant, Trinidad Rizzo, along with a strange gold artifact that Miranda tried to hide in her ripped dress after being attacked. Although it is about 25 pounds, 24 inches long.
Look, I'm a big girl. I got it.
She's tall, yeah. Few people noticed among the other commotion of the body that Renee carried upstairs in her arms of Trinidad Rizzo. But you took this broken piece of gold artifact with you that you found along with hay inside of a broken box in the basement beside a piece of burnt flesh.
Yeah.
Then you also got Rizzo's notebook that was found by Renee, and you learned much from her summary of a conquistador's final confessions. Then you arrived at the hotel of Larkin to question him about his man being a monster. And Jennifer also found a gold-mirrored relic under the mattress of De Mendoza. You found Larkin in an opiate-induced stupor with strange tattoo markings on his chest and a darkness visible in the veins of his wrists. And while you were there, his eyes rolled back into his head, went completely black, and he said quite menacing things. Now, this is where we left our adventurers, but I want to fast forward just a little bit. So you left Hotel España. You know that you are set to go with this man on an expedition in 2 days' time. So perhaps you have a discussion with Elias of what would be the best course of action. And he convinces you how important it is that if this man is up to something evil at this lost pyramid, if there is some sort of death cult, supernatural or not, that it's up to you and no one else to get to the bottom of it and stop Larkin if need be. Or perhaps take home treasure if he seems to have not actually known about De Mendoza. So this is what you discuss with Jackson Elias. And as you go to bed that night, Jennifer, you go back to your room with the gold mirror that you had taken. Now, at first it looks like a mask. It's about 6 inches tall and 6 inches wide, but there are no eye holes to it. It's built out of these geometric layers of gold that create a face. And when you turn it over in your hands, it's the back that's polished to a high sheen enough to show your own reflection. As you sit on the bed in your room and stare into it,
Don't do that. That sounds like a bad idea. Jennifer, what are you thinking?
I'm checking my makeup and my hair.
you use it to
That
check
checks
your
out.
makeup. But as you sit there, something holds your eyes open. You can't look away. And for a moment, you see an ancient stepped pyramid on a plateau. No plants grow on this pyramid, on this plateau. And you see hills nearby, covered in lush greenery, but not here. You see the pyramid break apart as greasy white tendrils dripping with huge maggots reach upward from the remains. And then the vision breaks.
Oh dear.
You meet up with your friends later that morning. You've had a good night's rest. It's actually Monday morning. And you can meet in one of your hotel rooms, perhaps, and discuss what you found and what next moves you should make before you head out in the 3-truck caravan that is going to be waiting outside when you go downstairs outside of your hotel, Maury.
I just want to say for the record, I'm uncomfortable continuing to go. I know we're doing it. We told Elias that we would. I do not think it's going to turn out great.
I'm not feeling very confident either. I had a very uncomfortable moment with that mirror that I found in Dame Mendoza's room.
Like, did you try and sleep on it? Because that would have been uncomfortable.
No, not physically uncomfortable. It was.
What happened?
Well, I was checking my reflection, and I had a bit of a vision. There were, and Jennifer's gonna look over at Renee. There were maggots and tendrils and a plateau that did not grow any plant life. It's I'm not sure if that's something that we will see, but it did not comfort me at all.
Fascinating, though.
Have you looked in it again? Does it happen every time you look into the mirror?
I kind of put it in my case.
Right, I get that, yeah.
When you see, I've seen a lot of things this trip that I did not anticipate, and a lot of things I don't know if I want to experience again.
Miranda's feeling really torn right now because she's apprehensive about what we're about to go do, but that old drive to find, she's thinking back to her past about when she was a kid and she looked into a spyglass and saw something, and she's always been on the lookout for other things that can prove that that existence or that experience that she had was real. And I don't think she can resist this, even though she knows deep down it's a bad idea. Jennifer, would you mind if I looked in the mirror?
Oh, not at all. Shall we to my room?
Yeah. Let's stop off there.
All right, you take the golden mirror. You see the front of it that looks like this visage, this face, and as you turn it slowly in your hands and look into the reflective backside.
Roll for power.
It's one of your characteristics on the top of your sheet.
Okay. Oh boy. I think I rolled a 13. I have a 10 and a 3.
That's right.
That's pretty good. That's almost an extreme success. Is that what they're called? Right? Because you have hard success and extreme success, right? My extreme is an 11.
Below 1/5 of your total power is an extreme success.
So it's close, but not quite. But you know what? I think, should I spend 2 luck to get it down so that I lock in an extreme success on this?
I think you should.
Right, to be safe, because this could be something bad. I would like to spend 2 of my luck to get my 13 down to an 11, and that would make it an extreme success.
Are you sitting or standing?
When I'm holding it?
Yeah, you're in Jennifer
right now
Smallwood's room.
I'm sitting. I think I sat down.
As you sit on the foot of the bed,
Mm-hmm.
the mirror drops from your hands. The other two see as you lay flat back and fall backwards onto the cushions of the bed. Your eyes roll back in your head, and the pupils can't even be seen. It's just the whites, and you start to shake, and you see this same plateau that your friend spoke of. You see the tip of a steeped pyramid with a flat top on this plateau. It seems as centuries of sand and dust and debris have buried it from what was originally built. And then you feel as if a bird, as if you're flying above the pyramid, and you look down. You see capstones around the steeped pyramid. You can't tell what's underneath them, but there is one large opening in the ground, and your bird self dives downward. And as you dive closer, you see round objects the size of 2 man's hands together. And you see many of them. They look like some sort of balls. And as you get closer, you see that they're skulls, and some of them have hair on them. As you continue to dive down, you must be something very small. You go past them and you soar down through a tunnel. And as you're in this tunnel, it goes black for a moment, and then you see gold and riches all around you. You see dirty sleeping mats in the corner with figures sleeping on them, pale white figures. And then all of a sudden, as if a torrent from every wall at once comes rushing in like water flowing, but it's a white viscous liquid. You know you've seen it before. You saw it dripping from the mouth of Luis de Mendoza. And then you flash back to the hotel room.
I feel like Renee is like medical. She just sort of like jumped in when you collapsed on the bed and is like checking your pulse and like putting her hand on your forehead. That's what you wake up to. And she's like, oh.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
You all right? You good?
Yeah,
All right.
wow.
Lammy.
I had a vision. And I'll tell them in as much detail as I can remember everything that I saw diving down and seeing the skulls, and then a tunnel, and then a room of gold that must be where they want to get to. But in there on mats were, I think, more of these kawasiri in there. And then there was like, you know, that gross stuff coming out of De Mendoza's mouth when he was trying to suck our life force, I guess. Yeah. That was everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, like rushing in at me. That might have just been a weird, like, spiritual thing as part of the vision, but like, I feel,
Do you need water or a bucket?
You know what? Just a glass of water would be fine, I think.
And
Right.
pardon me waiting so long to say this, but Miranda, I'd like you to roll for sanity, as this was a rather disturbing vision, a bit more than...
Like, my power roll was extreme, so I think I'm probably pretty sane.
That's why you got to see a lot more stuff, but still gonna make you crazy.
No.
Oh no.
Okay, well, my current sanity is 46, and I just rolled a 48.
You know, typically, if you're off by just 2, a fun mechanic of this game is you're able to spend some of your luck.
Yeah,
But
like
that
I just
doesn't
did.
apply to sanity
Yeah.
rolls. I'm afraid you have no recourse but to roll for sanity. And because this is we'll see.
Poor Miranda. She's
I
always.
hear more than one die there, so
It's dice tower, so it bounced around. It's just a 2. You lose 2 sanity from what you saw.
I mean, that makes sense. I'll buy that. Okay, now I'm extra nervous now about going on this. I think I'll know how to. I'll recognize everything when I see it. I think I'll know like maybe how to get. At least I know what's ahead of us. But
good nervous or bad nervous?
bad nervous.
Okay.
Bad nervous.
Everything both of you have described does seem like a particularly fascinating discovery. And I also agree that this is a terrible idea, and maybe we do have a little bit of responsibility to make sure that the vampires don't find what they're looking for, because it seems like they'll probably go if we don't go with them. But also, I'm pretty sure if I published this in a paper, they would have to let me in the PhD program, no matter how many fights I was in.
Well, your paper sure is more important than saving the lives of other people, sure.
It's not saying that that's not important.
No, I get it.
That might override any self-preservation instincts that I have.
Yeah, I guess we have to go and try and maybe we can get rid of all these things and protect some people, or...
What does Jennifer Smallwood think at all of this?
Jennifer is torn. She has seen things she's never seen before, things that she was not expecting, but she has also paid a lot of money to come here and to do this expedition. So on the one hand, I think she's trying to weigh, it's like, well, I've experienced new things. On the other hand, it wasn't what I paid for, and I didn't have fun. Will this be fun? But this is dangerous. But is that good? It's like, like the she's weighing her pros and cons of what's thrill versus,
Are you saying any of this out loud?
No.
Okay. You just like silently sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
She's a young, beautiful woman who has paid large amounts of money to be tortured on halfway around the globe. So as that thought is crossing your mind, your friend Elias knocks on the door and solemnly tells you it's time to go. The three of you gather up. Oh, yes.
It's just, are we taking all of our stuff with us? Quick question, I guess, for Becca. Is our stuff coming with
out
us?
of the Hotel Maury.
Okay.
Yes, you may be gone for months. You don't know how long this expedition will be, but you do know that wherever this hidden pyramid is, it's close to the city of Puno. Puno is a 3 days journey, typically done by steamer, but you're going to be taking trucks. You have a parade. What do you call a line
caravan.
of caravan of 3 trucks that is bringing all of you and all of your things.
Before we go, I know all of our things need to get loaded up into the trucks. Elias, I feel like I should tell you, I took something from the museum, and I feel like I should show it to you. And I'd like to show him the gold. So I'll root around in my trunk and pull it out. I'm assuming I lugged it over to Jennifer's room and say, I think it's some kind of ward. It was just a sense that I got, but I don't know anything else about it, and maybe in your cult stuff. Does it look like anything? And I'll just hold it out.
Interesting. As you do, we said it's 2 feet long, 3 inches tall, and pretty thin. It's very, very heavy, though. It's pure gold. And as you all look at it, it seems that there's one straight line of it. We have an image, and 4 smaller pieces curling out of it. It looks as if it's been broken on either end, and the surface is imprinted with these non-repeating geometric shapes, mostly squares and rectangles. There's no obvious meaning that any of you can discern. Does anyone want to roll something or have anything as Elias takes it from you and feels its weight and starts to sort of mumble about what it may be and things he's read about the area.
I feel like Renee either like would go up and look at it while Elias is, because she's a little bit of a fangirl. And then I'm either like curious if it has, say, like mystical properties, like if it had some sort of activation on it, or like she said ward, so like, you know, she's immediately thinking like hold up the cross to, or you know, to push back the vampires.
Sure. As Renee places a hand on it, roll for power.
I will do so. I've been rolling a lot of. Oh wow, that's a 12, and that is an extreme success because my power is 70.
You got real special dice, by the way.
I rolled a bunch of 50s right before we started, and I was like perfectly average, and now I'm like, ooh.
You gotta warm them up.
Yeah, there you go. You get the bad rolls out of them.
Renee, as she closes her eyes, you, as you touch it, you feel a great power within it. But it doesn't make you feel afraid. It makes your palms feel cool to the touch. And you feel as if any dark thoughts within your head immediately leave you. You just feel a flash of positivity as you touch this gold object.
Sort of steps back from it. Wow. I have no idea what that is, but it felt good.
Oh.
That seems like good news, right?
Well, you said it was a ward?
I got a sense that maybe it was, but I don't really understand. Jennifer, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say that sounds like a good thing to carry with us if it's... Because, I mean, I can tell you that this mirror does not make me feel good.
No.
Elias looks at it and he agrees with you. He looks at the mirror and he thinks you're probably right on with that as well. And then he turns to Renee and he says, the research. I believe that you found some sort of research from the dead girl. Is that right?
Yeah, you helped me translate it earlier. And
I didn't know if you had shared. Yes, we totally did that.
I don't speak Spanish.
Let's take a moment just for everybody at home and for you guys to refresh your memory.
Research.
If you want to read it aloud, that would be lovely.
All right. I'll read the first part. This is in Spanish, I believe. It is written by Gaspar Figueroa. Figueroa?
I think so.
And he had traveled to Peru with Francisco Pizarro. According to the text, Figueroa set out to seek his own fortune following Pizarro's assassination in 1541. He was accompanied by Hernando Ruiz, Diego Garrido, Luis de Mendoza, and Pedro de Velasco, fellow conquistadors who had served with Pizarro. They traveled to the southern highlands of the Andes looking for treasure, hoping to make their fortunes before heading back to Spain and retiring in luxury. Hearing rumors of an ancient temple filled with gold, the men set off into the mountains southwest of Lake Titicaca. There they found a pyramid surrounded by a maze-like structure of underground tunnels. The wall of the tunnels were inlaid with intricate gold carvings. The men pried out a large section of the gold, exhausting themselves in the attempt. That night, as they rested, an evil sickness befell Figueroa's companions in the morning. In the morning light, they looked gaunt and deathlike. Complaining of agonizing hunger, they pursued Figueroa de Mendoza. Figueroa de Mendoza caught up with him and started to devour him like a human. Figueroa shot his friend in the head and fled, pausing only to snatch up as much of the gold as he could carry. Figueroa... Oh,
he shot his friend in the head?
Yeah.
De Mendoza got shot in the head?
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, like Renee looks at, wait, De Mendoza? This De Mendoza? Do we think it's the same De Mendoza?
It might be the same de Mendoza.
I think so.
Do you think intricate gold carvings, and then points over at the like board that we're holding, which is clearly from a different time period than the other pieces that we investigated. Maybe.
So are we establishing that head trauma does not kill these things?
Well, I mean, you shoved a heel of your shoe into his head and he did not die.
Mm-hmm.
Also very hungry. Tried to devour him.
Shot in the head, didn't die, because obviously he was there last night, 2 nights ago.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so head injuries won't do it. Noted.
Okay, there's a little bit more. Figueroa eventually arrived back in Lima, hoping to get passage home, but he was too weakened by his ordeal. Figueroa describes himself as a wasted, little more than a walking corpse. I read final confessions as Figueroa's attempt to lift the guilt that avarice had placed upon him. He believed that his fate and that of his companions was brought about by their desecration of a holy place, and his most fervent wish was that he could undo the damage that he inflicted. He describes how he can still hear his friends' voices, crying out with inhumane hunger, and how in the dark of the night he can hear another voice, ancient and seductive, promising him eternal life if he returns to the temple. The voice told Figueroa how to contact it, but it seems he was too afraid to ever attempt this. A postscript written by the priest who performed the last rite states that Figueroa died a day after completing his final confessions. His last words were an entreaty to whatever gods were listening to forgive him of his blasphemies. Wait, he did end up contacting this thing?
Do you think that's the voice we heard come out of Larkin's body?
Seems probable. Possible
Could
at
be.
this point.
At this point, I'm not ruling anything out.
So the whole point of this trip is for Larkin, maybe, to try and get eternal life.
Or to restore the... They read the part about
Fix what they broke.
the gold that they took. The gold that they pried upon.
And pried out a large section of the gold, exhausting themselves in the attempt.
It's pretty heavy.
Could that be the same piece of gold that you have?
Believes they desecrated a holy place.
It could be.
Maybe the holy place was keeping something in, and when they desecrated it, they let something out?
Okay. Well, then maybe all the more reason for us to go and definitely take this, because maybe by returning it, it'll make all these things go away. Yeah. To finally die.
Well, ladies, I think you've come to some interesting conclusions. I definitely believe this cult is real, and we've seen strange things that I can't explain, although I don't know if my readership would believe them either. Elias is talking to you. But I do believe it's time to leave. He looks out the window, and he says the trucks are honking. And then
Pack away the...
valets come and grab the last of your belongings, and they're loaded into the truck. As each of you see Larkin standing in the street, he's sent telegrams or left notes at your hotel apologizing for his behavior and his sickness, and please forgive him, trying to explain away what you saw
I'll forgive, but I won't forget.
As some sort of psychotic episode but that he's feeling much better now. Ladies, if you would, I am so sorry for what you may think of me, but please, I will put you in this truck. Yes?
We all have things we're working.
Thank you for understanding. And if you don't resist, he will show you to the truck, and you'll begin your journey to Puno. Is there anything else, aside from all the possessions that you've brought with you, everything that you found, is there anything, provisions have been accumulated for the journey? If there's anything in particular that you would have gone in town to purchase, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, we'll head to Puno.
Is De Mendoza with us?
You do not see him.
I just wanted to check that part.
Yeah, he just shows up.
You know, in the intervening days that reports were coming out of the university that the woman's body was found, and that there were reports of another man that you made to the police, and they said they never found the body of the man that you claim fell in the storeroom.
Of course they didn't find him. He's not dead.
Elias has conferred with you and thinks that maybe you just thought you incapacitated Damon Dosa, but he does believe you, and he says he's in that masculine fashion. He says he'll keep each of you safe, even though you know that the three of you are probably very capable of keeping yourselves safe should Damon Dosa return. But
yeah,
you do
I will
not
be gaslit. I know what I saw.
I can't seem to find it on my character sheet. How much ammo I might have for my shotgun? I see something that says ammo 2.
So you have 2 shots at a time. And I'm going to roll.
Because I have something that says, it looks like it says
You
mouth?
have 10 shells.
10 shells.
I rolled a d12.
Okay. Could we say at some point, because I've been feeling paranoid, that I went out and maybe got I don't think I want a gun, but like a knife of some sort, just like a little, like a small knife that I could keep on my person that would make Miranda feel maybe a little safer. If something comes at her again, she'd be able to shiv them, you know?
Let's say in the town you found a purveyor of weapons and you bought a dagger. Let's call it like
perfect.
10 inches long. And I think that would do 1d6 of damage. I'm not looking at my book. I'm just arbitrarily assigning it. So don't
that
at
sounds
me.
right.
All right. And of course, naturally, Renee would have packed several small plants, maybe found a few in town.
Or like a first aid kit.
Yeah, you can definitely replenish your stores. All right.
You know.
You begin the 3 days travel. It's arduous, but the drivers of these trucks know it well. And each night you stop at either a village inn 2 of the nights, or you camp beside the road at one night in this very mountainous landscape that you're passing through. And as you arrive in the city of Puno, this is an agricultural village. You pass many small farms on your way in. About 20,000 people live here. And it's a beautiful town. The richest inhabitants live along the banks of Lake Titicaca, which it's very unique in that it's a very elevated lake, and for that reason the water is very brackish because it evaporates a lot and then the salt accumulates. So the water is very thick, and there are villagers that have actually established communities on the lake itself. There are these floating villages, floating islands, where people live, but the richest inhabitants live along the banks. And as you look up into the hills, there are smaller homes getting smaller and smaller, and huts up the winding roads into the highlands. And on one end of the modest but beautiful town square is a very impressive basilica. It's the tallest building in the city. As you drove in, you saw these floating villages, and they're very cool. If you want to look up Google, I don't have an image to show you, but Google image search can provide Lake Titicaca floating villages. It is a real thing. They're awesome. They're made of like just thatched straw, basically.
Sounds so cool.
Yeah, they're awesome. As you arrive and you step out in the town square, and and this did happen on the way along your journey, you were going higher in elevation. So I'm going to need each of you to roll against the effects of altitude sickness. Roll for Constitution, which I saw someone in chat mention that, and that is actually written in the scenario.
I get a regular success with 31.
I got an extreme success. I am constituted up. I rolled 11.
I rolled a 59 and my con is 70.
Okay, so you all succeeded. Luckily for you, you will not have to take any sort of penalty when you're doing physical activity. Each of you feels the effects. You feel the sort of weight. You're breathing a little deeper to get a good breath, but each of you is able to acclimate. Once you arrive and you check into the small inn, you'll be staying just one night here. Larkin immediately goes to his room. He once again makes his apologies that he's not feeling his best. And Elias is here with you. I've been here before, he's taken you, he's invited each of you into his room just to chat and maybe have a few shots of tequila.
Of course.
I've been here before, This is where I met a medicine woman. Naira, and she told me of the Karasiri. She's the one that told me to watch for De Mendoza. She's the reason I've met you.
Wait, she told you to watch for De Mendoza?
She told me this man, Luis de Mendoza, was a Karasiri, and I, of course, I'm researching for my book, so I followed the lead.
Wait. She told you he's a Kawasiri, and we've told you he's a Kawasiri, but you still don't believe that he's a Kawasiri?
I mean, I don't know
That's
what I
4
believe,
people.
frankly. I saw the body of Trinidad, and something unnatural definitely happened to her, but I don't know.
Luis de Mendoza.
I know that he's definitely a part of the death cult. I can tell you that much. Roll for persuade.
I can't wait for the dice to turn on me. I rolled an 18. Oh, that's not good enough. My persuade is not good. I'm not personable. So my 18, I could spend. I have to roll a 10 on my persuade. I could spend 8, but honestly,
Is there?
I don't know how much I care if he believes me or not.
Is there a way to like help or support people in this system?
There is the ability to award a bonus die, which is usually how I'd handle someone like describing how they were assisting. But in this case, you could just also roll for persuade, if you want to jump in and help.
Renee is argumentative, and I think like as she sees Miranda sort of fumbling a little bit, or maybe kind of struggling to articulate exactly what it is she's trying to convince, Renee's just like, I understand. It seems irrational, but think about it from a research perspective. When all of the evidence points in one direction, you have to understand that you've just validated a hypothesis, whether you like the results of your study or not.
Interesting.
That's good.
And I get a 59, which is just a success. My persuade is 60.
I mean, I was going to give you a bonus die because I really like that justification.
Such a good way to talk to him
P-value
about
on
it.
this study. No, just...
He looks into your eyes and says, you have a way about you. I suppose when you put it that way. Maybe there are things that don't fall within our normal realm of understanding. Well, if he is some sort of possessed being, Naira is the one who would know about it.
Should go talk to her.
Yeah, we should.
You can go to her hut. As you go there, he leads you down. It's just right off the main square. And as he knocks and looks in the windows, it seems like no one's home. You see an old man sweeping across the way.
I'll go, excuse me, do you know, we're looking to talk to the woman who lives here. Do you know when she might be back? I say it not English.
Yes.
I mean, in not Spanish because Miranda can't.
Elias steps over and he translates the question. He refers to her by name, and the man seems to recognize Elias. And he looks around, he looks at you, and Elias sort of gestures in a way that, you know, he's saying that you're trustworthy. And then the man says, Elias comes back to you and explains that he has said she's staying with friends on the floating villages. She feels as though she's been followed ever since Elias left.
Followed? By Kawasiri?
As soon as you say Karasiri, the man goes inside his hut and closes the door and draws the shades. And then he peeks out at you.
Noted.
Maybe-
Don't say that word.
I don't think
Yes,
it was the word. I just think you might be right that it is the death cult or the Karasiri or whatever they are.
So,
Well, now we
is there
have to find her.
any part of you that thinks that the death cult and the Karasiri might be one and the same?
As the evidence points closer and closer, I'm willing to entertain it. And he nods to Renee, because you did convince him.
Renee rolls her eyes, I think, when he turns away, because she's just like, I've dealt with so many professors like this. I told them the talking plants, and they don't believe me.
Jennifer just looks at Renee like, okay. He's willing to entertain the idea.
Oh man. Please.
When he's eating him.
So,
Renee, you hear a whispering. And as you look around, you notice some tall succulents growing in a pot near this man's hut. What do you have that's like a botany related skill? Do you have botany?
I took nature or natural world, I guess, and science. So, but yeah, I
Can you
consider
roll for natural world?
Renee just like turns and stares at these plants. I get a 54, which is a success, a regular success.
You feel the wind start to blow, and it seems to be blowing you in the direction towards the water as you hear whispers like, she's this way. But only Renee can hear.
well, I guess we just give up. Let's just go back to our inn, I guess.
And then Renee just starts walking.
She's which way?
The direction of the wind. The plants told me. Let's go.
Elias immediately starts following you, and you're led
right.
to the shores of Lake Titicaca. There is a man there with a small boat for hire, and the four of you, along with Elias, are standing on the edge. You can see the floating village that the wind is directing you to. It is right in front of you, maybe 100 feet into the water.
So do we have a boat? How are we getting to this village?
I guess
rent.
we can hire this one, right? This one here?
He yells out the price of a soul. A soul eats 4 souls, he says, to Elias.
I go, Elias, you got that right. You can go with this.
I was going to say Jennifer just reaches into her pocket and pulls out.
Yeah. Elias definitely looks to Jennifer as Miranda looks to Elias.
Right, Jennifer doesn't look at anyone. Jennifer just reaches into her purse and starts rummaging around for money. Walks up, hands him the money.
Can you all roll for spot hidden?
Ooh, yeah. Oh, no.
3 zeros is 100, right?
That's a critical fail.
Yeah, I just got a straight up 100.
You just start celebrating the fact that the plants seem to actually be telling you something useful for once. All the plants you talked to before have always led you astray.
Crouched down by like a clump of daisies and is just like, tell me.
But everyone knows daisies are so stupid. Did anyone else succeed?
I did not. I rolled a 78.
I got a 33, and I need, mine is, I need 30. So I might spend 4 luck to make it 29. Is that how this works?
I think you
just have to spend 3.
3?
You have to meet it or lower.
Okay. Then I will spend 3. Make it 30.
Yes.
After you hand over the coinage, the souls that you'd had converted in Lima, you feel the hairs on the back of your neck prickle up. You feel as if someone is watching you. And as you turn and look, you don't see anyone at first, but then far away, down the bank of the lake, you see a small boat. And sitting inside this little rowboat is a middle-aged woman and a teenage boy. Can't see too many details because they're at a pretty great distance, but it looks like they're just staring at you. Unblinkingly, very still. They look to be locals. They don't look like... they're a little darker of skin than this party is. Except for Elias, of course.
Jennifer's going to turn to Paula and turn to Miranda, and since Renee's crouched down by the flowers, she's going to say, down the bank a ways, there's a little boat, and it seems like there's a woman and a young man staring at us.
Oh, look. Elias, did Nira? Did she Nara? Did Nara could that be her? Did she have a young boy a son or a brother or grandson? I'm not sure how old she is.
As Miranda points, Jennifer's just gonna lower her hand.
Right there. Do you see that?
Whoever it is now knows that you're watching.
Oops.
Or you know they're watching. And Elias turns and looks and turns back to you quickly, trying to act casual as if he didn't look. No, that's not Nera. No, Nera is a very old woman. White hair, very thin. That's not Nera.
Good. Well, I have a knife, so I think we'll be okay.
And I've got my gun.
All right.
You hop into the boat after paying the ferryman, and he takes you over to the small village. And as you ask around for Nera, people start saying no, but then one woman recognizes Elias and gives him a hug and recognizes him. He explains that he had tea with her and Nera at her cottage in town. And she leads the way into, actually, in fact, it is her home. And she leads you into a back room of this small thatched hut.
Before we enter the hut, can I just take a quick peek and see if the people who were watching us, does it look like they followed us at all?
As I'm sure each of you were keeping eyes on them across the water, and they stayed behind. They turned their heads when they saw you notice them. But now, as you've gotten out of the boat and the ferryman's starting to paddle back, they're starting to paddle into the water. They seem to have gone about halfway and stopped.
Interesting.
As the ferryman's paddling away, Jennifer's gonna get his attention and hold up some more money and be like, "Can you stay, Elias? Can you ask him to stay?"
He sees the money that you're holding up, and his eyes grow big, and he just grabs it and nods as if he understood without translation.
Good thinking. Jennifer, good idea.
I don't trust whatever's happening over there, and we might need a quick getaway.
Yeah.
All right, as you enter the hut, and you go behind a beaded shell and rock curtain that's pulled away by the other woman who gestures you in. Nera seems to have made herself quite at home here. And as soon as she sees Elias, she lights up this little old wrinkled woman that just, mijo, and kisses his cheeks. And they start exchanging pleasantries, and there's a small table in the room with small chairs around it, with some mystical-looking crystals sitting on the table, as well as just herbs surrounding, shelves full of herbs and jars surrounding the room in this small room. Elias says he would be happy to translate any questions that you have for Nera. She, of course, is the one that told him first of the Karasiri, and she gives the cross as it said, which it's interesting that, she has Catholicism, she has mysticism, she has paganism, all wrapped in, she knows the power of pluralism.
I want to, Jennifer and Renee, I kind of want to tell her about my vision and see what she thinks, but also I don't know if that's going to upset. Everyone here seems kind of superstitious, which, believe me, I understand. So it might be an upsetting thing, and I don't want us to get potentially shooed away if either of you have something you want to ask or talk about before I dump that big thing of information on her.
Maybe we ask what other questions we need first, and then you can tell her the extent of your vision?
Elias speaks up and says, I don't think she's one to be easily frightened. The people in these parts are afraid of her, you understand.
Oh.
Many respect her and her ability to heal, and many also fear her.
Okay, well, then, unless either of you have something else you want to start with, I could just tell her.
Well, I'm curious as to what might be following her, or what she thinks is following her.
Oh, yeah, let's ask that first.
He translates, and she whispers, Karasiri.
Yeah, us too.
And she stares at each of you deeply in the eyes, and then bursts out laughing very jovially with her tiny, bony little arms just swinging in the air. She's wearing just these colorful shawls, and just starts dancing around. And he says,
She's pulling our leg.
She's saying she can't live in fear, and she will dance away the fear.
I like it.
Ah,
Did I have a mark left on me from De Mendoza trying to, because I know it ripped my dress. Did it leave a physical wound at all?
Yeah, it didn't quite pierce the skin, except for, the teeth did contact you. So it didn't really bore in because you were able to fight him off. But there is just an impression, an indention of hundreds of teeth in a circular shape on your chest.
I'm going to undo the first couple buttons.
Elias averts his eyes.
On the top of my dress. It's like, Elias, it's fine. I'm not, I have some propriety, I suppose. And I'll just be like, I also, and I just want to point to her so that point to it so she can see that I've also experienced this. De Mendoza.
Looks at your chest and then, pobrecita. And she jumps up and she rushes over to her jars and she grabs a sort of salve. And without asking, she comes over to you and she starts slathering this on your chest and touches your face gently. And
Gracias.
Yeah. And you do feel a cooling. If you lost any HP, I don't know if you had, but you can gain 1 HP back.
Cool. But I'll give myself 1. Oh, no, I hadn't lost any.
Oh,
I'm at full.
Let's
so I'll
pretend
just
you did.
That's lovely.
Great.
I am good. It's good. I gracias, and I'll button up. Okay, cool. Sir,
she asks. So the Karasiri has visited you. Elias translates.
Yes, we all saw it. And we thought that we killed it, but then I don't think it was actually dead. Can they not? I guess they can't die.
No, they can't die, she says to you. And then she laughs and makes a joke about how when they come for her, they'll be disappointed because there's so little fat to suck off her body.
I like her.
What were you going to say, Jennifer?
Oh, if they can't be killed at all, then never mind. I was going to ask about how we could kill it if she knows how, but
she says, as Elias is translating, she interjects and says, well, there are some ways. If you take apart the body, if you burn the body, I don't see how it could come back. But I don't know. I've never captured a Kirasiri myself.
Are they? I felt something move inside of him when I thought he was dead, like a thing in his stomach.
He had maggots come out of his mouth.
Maggots. Was it maggots I felt move inside of him?
In the vision, and I'm just wondering if, well, insects have a tendency of having stages of their existence where they pupate and then they liquefy and then they merge as another creature. So what if the Kirasiri can do that?
Her eyes get wide as if it's not a possibility she's entertained before. And she turns to a picture on the wall of a butterfly, and then she looks at it and she looks at you and she looks very scared and goes quiet.
Oh no, did I scare her?
Cool. Good.
I thought you
Well,
No,
now's a good
she's
time
just
as any
deep
then.
in thought. She starts to tell a story, and she wants to tell you the tale of the pyramid and how it came to exist, is what Elias tells you.
Oh.
She tells the story. An ancient god fell from the sky and landed in Lake Titicaca. It crawled out and it brought hunger with it, devouring all it touched. And the trickster hero, Akeko. And she does a little dance when she describes Akeko, and the trickster just sort of like lifts up Elias's hat and peeks under it and puts it down. Akeko told the evil god where the most nutritious food could be found deep underground. And it showed it the tubers and the grubs. And Akeko convinced the god from the sky, tempted by the food, to crawl into an old armadillo burrow. And as Elias is translating, he said, I think this is some sort of old folklore tale. And in fact, I've read about it in many cultures, things that are similar. Obviously, it's not based in fact. But then she slaps him and she says, keep translating.
Yeah, come on.
Akeko placed stones over the burrow, trapping the god below, and told the people that it was now a sacred site and had them build a temple over it, binding in place with spells worked in gold. And the god from the sky still lives underneath the temple to this day. Those of us who are wise enough know to avoid it. And she looks as if, no, I've never been there. I would never go. But if anyone from Puno goes near it, no one would. It has been forgotten.
I had a vision, I think, of this temple, and I'll tell her what I saw and flying down and seeing the skulls and the gold and all the mucus.
She looks very sad for you. And she turns and starts mixing herbs and turns back to you and hands you a tea. And she touches your head and says a word, and Elias says, it will calm the mind.
Huh. Gracias. I'll sip the tea.
When you do, gain back 1 sanity.
Yes. Ooh. I love her. We, of course, don't have the
Can we keep her
gold thing to... Yeah, right. Can she come with us?
You can ask.
Naira, will you... I'm sorry, I say your name wrong every time. Do you want to come with us to the temple?
She shakes her head no and shakes her hands and says, I'm safe here. I'm safe. I'm too old and frail for the journey.
Well, if you don't want to come with us, would you like to provide some things to help improve our journey, such as salves and teas and things?
She shakes her head yes, and then she touches her palm.
Oh, of course, this is her job, so I guess.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah.
And we should pay her for... She's already given me tea, and we should probably pay her for that. All right, Miranda starts, like, rummaging through.
Oh, don't...
I
think she's just pulling money out.
All right. I grew up on the
Neighbor
street.
has
I'm not going to turn that down.
Excellent. She looks very happy, and she starts immediately mixing 2 more teas. If anyone else has lost sanity and you choose to sip the tea, you may gain 1 back.
Yes, please.
And she gives you more of the salve that she put on the wound to bring with you. Is there anything else in particular that you would like to ask her to make? Let's see.
Renee just like hovers the whole time, just like what, and like checking out what plants she's using. Like she's real into this.
Sure. Give me a roll for let's see. I give me a roll for your natural world.
All right. See if I can glean any secrets. That is a 40, which is a regular success.
I was going to make you try and fail it because that is typically how an improvement check works. If you're doing at the end of a session, you typically can improve anything that you've checked. And I was going to make you, if you failed, you could improve. But unfortunately, you are familiar with all of the herbs that she's working with. They're very common herbs. And as you watch her, these are all things you know.
I don't quite understand what she's doing, but I recognize it. So I'm not paying good enough attention to the intricacies of the processes of developing the medicines. I'm like, oh yeah, that's just blah, 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 whatever plant.
Yeah. You grab it, you smell, pisco, indigenous to this region she points and says pisco because you smell something that is new to you. And the rest of the herbs you're pretty familiar with, but she does give you things to stop, if you're bit by fire ants, you could rub it on there. Basically, any sort of common thing you could come across in your upcoming excursion into these highlands, she's giving you something to deal with it.
Thank you.
She nods.
Miranda's just gonna hug her. She's gonna crouch down and just hug her. I'm full of affection for this woman, and
she hugs you right back. This grandma loves love. And you stay there for a few more hours, and she tells you more stories of wanderers in caves and creatures made out of bones that work the fields by day, and at night they come to life and try and regrow their flesh. Everything she's saying has no root in reality as far as you can tell, although you were intrigued by the story she told you of the formation of the pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I do think we should ask her if she knows about a middle-aged woman and a teenage teenage boy.
Oh. Yeah, that's actually probably a good idea.
Elias translates, and she looks very sad, and she tells him she heard that a woman and her son had gone missing from the mainland, from Puno, 3 weeks ago.
Maggots. It's the maggots.
They're Kawasiri.
All right. Well, she looks very tired after telling stories for all this time. She gets quiet, and Elias says it's probably time that you should go head back to your hotel because you need to gather more supplies. The trucks can't make it into this intense level of highland where you're heading, is what you've learned from Augustus Larkin, and you're going to need pack mules for your journey.
And the ferry guy's probably been waiting for a while.
Oh, God. Yeah, as you head back to the dock, I mean, it's a short distance. You could probably wave to him if he's back at the other side, but roll for luck. Let's say Jennifer rolls because you were the one that bribed him to stay.
Luck?
Yeah, roll for your luck skill.
Could she maybe do her credit rating? I don't know if that's better, because then that's
that
like
would
how
be
much
better for me.
You can roll credit rating. That seems fair. Of how intimidating was your presence? How truly rich are you that you paid him off enough?
Well, my credit rating is 80, and I rolled a 51.
He's still there. He's been waiting patiently. He looks annoyed, but he perks up once he sees the four of you.
And I will give him another couple of coin.
He smiles and he starts whistling a tune as he invites you to hop in, paddles you back to the mainland. You don't see the woman and her son and the young man in the boat.
That's sad. I just feel sad about them.
I hope that they aren't Karasiri, but they made me nervous.
Yeah.
Do you go back to the hotel? Get a good night's rest before your journey tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I think we've probably done what we needed to do here.
In the morning, You find that there is Augustus Larkin and Elias and 3 empty pack mules. The 2 of them are already sitting atop pack mules. And it seems that they explained to you that they've left many of their belongings here at the hotel. They're just bringing the essentials with them so that they have plenty of weight to carry treasure back. Do you bring anything with you?
I'm bringing, however, wrapped up in whatever way I can so that it's not obvious what it is. I have to bring that gold bar. May I come up with some, this is just a very, I looked at them and I go, this is just a very large pack of items. I need, because my time of the month is probably going to happen. And, I'm going to need just a lot of supplies for that. So that's what this is.
I was going to say,
These are fast talk.
Question.
What? Larkin tries to explain to you how much treasure you will find. And you'll need so much room. That bag looks way too large.
All over that treasure?
She's very tall, and there's just a lot of blood,
There's
from the height. Her uterus is so long.
It's a huge uterus.
He looks horrified. Never mind. You don't have to roll. He doesn't know how to deal with uncouth American women who talk of the blood gushing from their bodies so freely.
Got him. Elias
gives you a wink because he knows
look,
what's in the package.
If NASA's gonna pack like 100 tampons for 5 days, I think we can pull this off.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
Larkin's kind of a dick, and he just mumbles something about bringing women and their minces along. It's more of a burden than I assumed. Blah, blah, blah. And you start to travel. Yeah, you can suck it. Because you got your golden ward with you. As you start on the trail, you're just following Larkin, really. And he starts to head in the southwest direction, which from the paper that you read in the research is generally the direction, and you don't know much more than that. The old man that you saw living across the street from Neira's old hut runs up and flags down Elias and whispers something to him, and Elias looks immediately grief-stricken. He turns to the 3 of you and he says, we should keep going. Further along the path, he reports to you that Neira was found with a hole in her chest in the morning. Along with
her.
As that realization dawns on you, please roll for sanity, all 3 of you.
She loves you too.
Not good. I got a 73. Renee is distressed.
I got a 77.
My sanity is 68.
I got a 90.
Oh,
wow.
So my sanity's 45, so I'm very upset.
Let's see. Miranda, you lose 2. And Renee and Jennifer each lose 1 sanity. Hearing about the death of your new friend. She gave you sanity and she'd take it away with her charming dances. You start on your days-long travel across the highlands, heading up further and further into the hills away from Puno as it disappears behind you. The landscape is a mixture of grassy plains and hills and valleys and mountain passes. It begins to all look the same after a while. And if anybody wants to roll for navigation to try and see if you would be able to find your way back on your own, or if you're just sort of just following along behind Larkin's pack mule, feel free. I'm going to assume that no one remembers because I wouldn't, but if anybody rolls successfully for navigation.
I'll try.
4. Which is actually successful.
Check that.
I have nothing in navigation.
Well, I got a 12, and my number was 30. So,
wow. Yeah,
I'm
check
just
navigation.
can't even tell. I'm crying, so I can't even tell like where we are, what we're doing, what the landscape looks like. I have no idea.
You are a blubbering fool, and Elias has to take the reins of your pack mule because you can't even lead the mule. You keep leading him off the road because you're crying so much.
It's just hormones, It's just that time of the month.
Yeah, and we will at the end of the session, if you care to keep this character, or if she lives, please circle or check the box next to that skill, and we will improve upon it before our next session. All right. You continue on, and the temperature is dropping as night approaches. You stop to make camp. And let's see if you remember to bring warm clothing and heavy blankets. Give me a survival roll.
Oh, gosh.
No, I do not succeed.
Nope, sure don't.
I do not either. I rolled
None
a
of you are able
38.
to help, but Larkin and Elias set the fire, and you sit around it at night. Does anyone stay awake, or does everyone go to bed after a long day of riding on pack mule?
I feel like with that survival roll, I'm just tuckered out. Like, my constitution's fine. Renee probably passes out to the gentle whispering of plants.
I will go to sleep. I think that I'm going to clutch the wrapped up gold piece like a body pillow.
Jennifer falls asleep, but is also clutching her shotgun because she's nervous.
All right. You go to sleep in a
like
makeshift tent made of a pole and some fabric draped over it that all of you are in, pretty near the fire. You keep the fire going all night, which usually scares off most small animals. And as you do, you wake up in the morning, and as you're packing up, you notice Jennifer, your mule is gone. Everything else is fine, and everyone takes a little while to look around. And as you look further and further behind the shrubs and bushes of pisco and various other small shrubs that grow in this area, not many tall trees here, you find the mule, thin, desiccated, no fat left on its body, and you know Siri may be close behind.
They're not far. They followed us here.
Elias invites you to share his pack mule, or if any of you want to hop on one together.
I mean, I would, but I feel like the mule's having a hard enough time with just me on it. So, but I don't want you to have to ride with Elias is a fine person. Sorry, at first you don't want to ride with Larkin, but I'm sure.
Oh no, I would not ride with Larkin.
So I guess, Elias, why didn't you stay up and keep watch last night?
Well, now that you mention it, I feel mighty sorry that I didn't. I wish I'd had that idea. But what's done, it's done.
We should start doing that from now on.
Yeah.
Maybe just stay awake for an hour or two each after what happened to Nira and now my mule.
An excellent plan. As the two of you ride the mule, it starts to lag behind the rest, and Elias hops off and just, leads it by its lead and lets you ride.
A gentleman.
And as you reach the brow of a hill, from the top of that rise, you see two human figures down in the valley, far away. One of them seems to be lying on the ground. Larkin says, "Oh, we must press on. I don't believe we should stop just for a few farmers." But you do see one of them is completely, prostrate on the ground, as the other seems to be hunched over.
Oh,
so hunched over in a concerned way, or hunched over in a I'm eating them way.
You're
Can
not
we
sure
tell?
at first. But then as you continue along the thin trail on the top of the hill, you see the larger of the two figures. A smaller figure is the one laying down, and the larger figure stands up and waves his arms at you. Hola, por favor, ayuda. Ayúdame.
Do we stop and help, or we just follow, or can we help them at all? What do we do?
Ladies, please, we must press on. The pyramid is but this day's ride away. Just a few more miles in this direction.
If we have a moment, I have medical supplies. We either this person is gonna eat us next, or they both need help. And
I guess here's the question: can we help them? We don't have any. Do we have any more extra mules? We can't take them anywhere.
If it's something that Renee can fix with her medical kit, maybe, but anything past that, I don't know if we can help. Unless one of them is a Karasiri, and then we definitely cannot help.
It's up to you, Renee. I'll support you if you want to stop and go over and check them out. How far away do they look? Pretty distant, or just like a couple minutes it would take to walk over there?
No, it's just down the hill. It's going to take you longer to get back up to this trail, but going uphill, but it'll be pretty quick on the way down. They're small figures from where you are, but you have pack meals to ride.
What do you want to do, Renee? I'll support your choice.
I feel like she'd feel bad if she just let them. Someone is actively asking for help, as opposed to just like walking past people on a trail. Just like it would be bad to not.
Larkin, we're stopping.
Well,
Right.
I'll perhaps track on and circle back for you. He seems disappointed, but he continues on as Elias just turns his mule and starts going straight towards the figure. So he's a little bit ahead of you. And Elias starts calling out in Spanish to these two figures. As you get closer, you see it's a man, maybe in his 30s, and on the ground looks like a young boy, like a preteen, like 12 years old or so. And as you get close enough to see their faces, they see yours. And the man who's standing lifts up a rifle and points it at you. What? He looks at the three of you in the eyes and he says, Karasiri. He looks to Elias and he looks like he's been betrayed. He gives them a look of betrayal and then looks to the three of you and says, Karasiri.
No, not Karasiri.
He yells something and Elias calls back as Elias has his hands in the air and is looking straight at the man and talking fast in Spanish, and they exchange some words. He says he doesn't trust Europeans. He says every Karasiri, including the one that attacked his son, was of European descent.
Well, that's fair.
Reasonable.
Does anyone can anyone roll for charm, fast talk, or persuade and tell me what you'd like to say? You can have Elias translate.
I can try a charm.
I can try to fast talk.
Reasonable persuade.
Yeah.
What approach do we want to take first?
But I was attacked too, and we wouldn't attack ourselves if we were Karasiri. That's some fast talk.
So if my number's 50 and I rolled a 26, should I spend one to make it a 25?
Ooh, probably.
Make it extra good. I rolled a 26 and I need a 25 for a regular success. So I will spend one for a regular, but it might be nice to have.
I feel like an extreme or a hard success with a charm is a good thing for someone pointing a rifle at us.
Yeah. I'll go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and spend a luck and make my 26 a 25.
All right. As he lowers his rifle, tell me what you said to charm him so.
I just said, we have fought a Karasiri. We are definitely not one of them. We are very against the Karasiri, and we just want to help. We have medical supplies, but we understand the hesitation.
Something about your presence, as Elias translates, seems to disarm him. He lowers the rifle And as he looks at the three of you again, especially you, Jennifer, he looks at you and then a laugh of relief as he realizes how silly he was. And as he looks closer, he can tell that you are human and you are trustworthy. As Elias does his best to translate all this. And he says, please, my son, my name is Domingo. Oh, my name is Julio, and my son Domingo it has been hurt. And as you look at him, you see his shirt is torn and covered in blood, and the wound in his chest is gaping. And at this moment, I think we should take our break. I know it's not exactly the most climactic. Maybe we should have broken as the rifle was pointed at you, but guess what? Every moment I say is the perfect moment because I'm the GM. Anyway, right. We'll be back in 10 minutes. And Hello, everyone. We are back from our break. Thank you so much for sticking around for the second half of tonight's episode of the Calyx. I'm Becca Scott, and if you're just joining us, we're going to bring our guests back in here in just a moment and continue the scenario. I want to shout out our sponsor one more time. Thanks so much to Chaosium, the publishers of Call of Cthulhu, who so kindly sponsor this show and send us their amazing scenarios and all of their beautiful accoutrements. And I highly, highly recommend the book from which I got tonight's scenario, Masks of Nyarlathotep, Dark Schemes Heralding the End of the World. It is a 2-volume set, and there is so much good stuff in here. It also comes with a custom keeper screen that has all of the important NPCs in the whole scenario, which spans the entire globe, written on the keeper screen. It's really, really cool, and I love this product. If you want to pick one up or pick up anything from Chaosium, like their starter kit, which has a solo adventure and like really easy quick start rules, and then a couple other adventures, then you can pick all that up at chaosium.com. And if you use our code Calyx 2021, you'll get 10% off. It's a one-time use code, so make sure you get everything all at once so you can get the code, everybody. And thank you so much for sticking around. All right. Without further ado, let's get back to the adventure and bring our guests back in. We have Lauren Bond, Erika Fermina, and Paula Dimming playing. Oh gosh, I have to do the same order now. Renee, whose last name I forgot, Cohen, Jennifer Smallwood, and Miranda May. Uh-oh, muted.
That's right.
All right. So before we took our break, you are adventuring through the highlands of Peru. You are about to reach a pyramid, which may or may not be a safe place. You may have had visions of the horrors that exist there. You have encountered Karasiri, the fat-sucking vampires. You've even possibly killed one. You're not sure. You're probably sure that it's not really dead. But right now, you have encountered a man and his son, Julio and Domingo, and you are with Elias, your companion and friend, who, so far, I assume, and the leader of the expedition, a less trustworthy fellow, Augustus Larkin, has gone on ahead on his pack mule. As I assume, Renee, you'd like to perhaps attend to the wounded boy.
Yeah, let's see. Is he alive? Let's start there.
You go over and you feel for a pulse, and you do feel one. And he groans and he says, Karasiri, Karasiri. And his father explains to you through the translation of your friend Elias that they were seeking their lost alpaca. And as they had gone searching for him in the hills away from their farm, they were attacked. They were attacked by 2 Karasiri. One of them pinned down Domingo, Julio's son, and started sucking from his chest. And they just keep saying Karasiri. And of course, at this point, you have heard the legends. And it seems that Julio describes the way that he shot at the thing and they ran away. He's holding a shotgun, of course, which he held to each of you. But it seems like same viewers are sticking around, so thank you so much. All right. Renee, if you could give me a roll for either first aid or medicine. Medicine is going to take a little longer if you'd like to stop for longer, but you can potentially heal more.
Let's go for medicine. I think we've committed to the time. So, yeah, let's see. 45, which is a success. Ooh, medicine is 60.
All right. Roll. Oh, I'm going to do... You bandage him up, and in your med kit you have gauze, and you have the salve that was given to you by Neyra, the medicine woman and healer, the old woman who sent you on your way after telling you tales, and you later found out was also taken by the Karasiri. As you take out the salve she gave you and place it on this young man's chest, and he's able to get on the back of his father's mule, and Julio thanks you most profusely, and says, "You don't want to go that way. It has to be translated, but he grabs you by the hands and he says, "Not that way. That way is dangerous. That way is cursed."
Yep.
Yeah.
But we gotta.
Yeah,
All right.
we know.
Jennifer's gonna ask him, "Is that the only mule that you have?"
He looks confused, and as it's translated, he says, "No, we have 4 mules." He looks very proud as well.
Could I ask him if I could rent a mule? Borrow,
Roll for
Buy?
persuade or charm. Or actually, credit rating could probably do it.
I'll do credit rating.
Man, it's nice to have a rich person in the party, you know?
37. My credit rating is 80.
Oh, all right. You paid for fairy fare. You've paid for extra herbs and healing potions, and yet your reserves are not yet depleted. He looks fondly upon the number of souls that you are offering to him, and he gladly, his son, he throws over his shoulder in a fireman's carry to bring back to his head. He takes off the mule and takes the souls. No, it's fine.
The money
Because as
will
we
help
know,
him buy
How
more
much
medicine.
can
It's
one
okay.
mule cost anyway? $10.
That's a
There's
lot. Becca,
always
you can
money in the mule stand.
do it.
Anyway, he gives you the mule as he carries his son back in the opposite direction, muttering under his breath, crazy Europeans. I told them it's cursed. And Elias is very happy to get to ride his mule again. I said he was riding it, but he must have been on foot as he took off down the hill because he had lent his mule to you after something had depleted yours of all the fat in its body.
Oh, and I'm going to be protecting this mule.
Anything else you would like to do before catching up with Larkin, who had gone on ahead to scout, he said?
I don't think so, unless there's, I guess I could take a quick look around at where the attack happened in case there's anything of note that fell in the grass or something. I don't know what that would be, but
Sure, roll for spot hidden. But Renee, if you want to roll for natural world, that would work too.
I'll also help with spot hidden.
I
if
definitely
can.
failed that time with a 93.
Is
I
it
just-
food?
I just rolled a 1.
oh, now Becca's got to make up something that we found.
Check your skill.
It was already checked before.
And
Should I
as
double
you
check
look down with a critical success, wow! You look down and you see 2 sets of footprints running up in the direction that Larkin had been headed. But they are clear and distinct to you, Jennifer. You see them clear as day, and along them dispersed, you see coins. You see coins dropped periodically every 20 feet or so. A gold coin is dropped. That seems like a trail of breadcrumbs. Maybe you would get so bored of getting off your mule to pick them up that you stop doing so as you start leading the way ahead of Larkin, and you approach something that is familiar both to you, Jennifer, and to Miranda. You are high up on the hills, traveling from peak to peak as it's the easiest way in these arduous passes, mountain passes. And as it gets higher and higher, you actually have to leave your pack mules behind. But at the final peak that you know you must follow because you're still able to track these footprints. So the 3 of you dismount, 4 of you, Elias as well. I do that every time.
Mhm.
And as you reach the peak, you see this familiar sight, a plateau, as a shiver goes down your spines to those of you who looked in the golden mirror in its reflection and saw a vision of a pyramid on a plateau. And just as your vision had foretold, the bushes and shrubbery that had been everywhere along your path, the dense flora is devoid on this plateau. There is not a single plant, which of course is very upsetting to Renee, who can hear them speak all the time, whispering to her.
Did we catch up with Larkin? Do we see him anywhere?
Yes, he was always he actually got behind as he's trying to check his notes and his map. He is only a man, and he was going off of his memory of what he had been led to believe. But you are now led by Jennifer, who knows the way.
Right, of course, because she's following the footsteps.
Mm. And you see the ruins from the top of this plateau. Your pack mules you can see down below you. You couldn't get them close enough. So whatever treasure... I've strapped to my back whatever I wrapped the gold thing up in and have carried it with me. Sure, it's like a papoose, like a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
A swathing, but across your back. Mm-hmm. And you see a wind-blown valley, just as you saw in the vision. It's accessed from above, but it would definitely be difficult to get up the sheer cliffs from below. Luckily, you knew exactly the path to travel. And it is precarious. If anyone would like to attempt an animal handling roll, perhaps you could have brought a pack mule up here, but it's not a common skill.
I don't think I have that one.
Plants person, not an animal person.
As you get closer and closer, you hear an eerie whistling sound on the wind. Oh, no. You feel a cold shiver. You fear something. You feel something just in your bones that tells you this place isn't right. You notice an increasing number of flies in the air as you draw closer. Feel free to roll for natural world.
Get a 33, which is, in fact, a hard success.
You know these to be blowflies, which feed on carrion.
Oh,
you smell rotten meat as you continue to walk closer to the ruins. And from above, you can see the layout very clearly. There is a wall enclosing this pyramid. The pyramid is in, sort of like a large courtyard. There's a lot of space enclosed in this wall. And on the outside of the wall, the dirt and wind, the wind has blown the dirt just up against it. So the wall would not be, you don't even have to climb it. You could just sort of jump down from the dirt that's built up all around it to sort of be a ledge for you to get down from. There is a main gate. And of the stepped pyramid with these, tall, as tall as a man steps, that would be possible to climb. You only see about 5 or 6 of them. And it seems that much of what was once a majestic pyramid has been buried by Earth in the intervening years. Does anyone have archaeology?
Barely. No, in fact, no, I don't have it. I'm like, I'd have to roll a 1, which means
I would also have to roll a 1.
So that's no, we sure don't.
I've rolled my 1 for the night. I think that's all I've got.
I did not roll a 1. I know nothing.
You keep walking closer.
What about history?
I'll give you a chance in a sec. Okay. As you come from the peaks of the hill, coming down towards it on foot, you see 2 figures popping up out of the brush from down below in front of the main gate. They seem to have crawled almost up an almost vertical path.
Cool. Good.
From the distance, you can tell that their clothing looks very old and their skin looks very pale. They seem thin, but you can tell even at this distance as they reach the edge and climb up and over, their bellies are round and distended.
I don't like it.
I imagine you stay here and continue to watch them as you see them enter the wall enclosed area around the pyramid, and they walk up to the pyramid. They climb up this deep steps one of them at a time as the other turns and looks around. Do you hide?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll duck.
Roll for stealth, but you may roll with a bonus die if needed, which means roll your tens die again and take the better. Because you've been watching for a while, so you would have had time to maybe find something to hide behind.
Nope, still don't manage it, even with the bonus die. 33. My stealth is 20.
I rolled it. Oh, 16. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's almost an extreme. A 10 is an extreme success for me, and I rolled a 16.
Okay.
I rolled
And Jennifer,
44.
did you pass?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, with the
Like
almost
Miranda
extreme
just
success.
disappears, and then the two of us are just like, what?
I'm like, I'm very big.
I am very small.
What are you guys doing? Hide behind me,
Just
obviously.
grab like a bush and like put a branch in front of me. Like, I am hidden. Squats.
Miranda, with your hard success, you're able to see the stupid hiding places of your friends behind branches, and you yank them down behind the larger foliage that you had ducked behind. Enough to hide your very tall personage. The three of you, five of you, Elias and Larkin. Just Elias ducks down with you. In fact, Larkin stands up straight. He seems to be breathing in deeply. You smell the rotten flesh, but he seems to be embracing it. And as you see the eyes of the one standing watch of the Kirasiri down at the pyramid, or what you can only assume to be the anciently clad person, you see them not even acknowledge Larkin. Just look him over as he looks over them. Then as you continue to watch, the one who had climbed gets to the top of the pyramid, leans down, and with a keen eye, each of you watching so intently, one of you notices, seems to be vomiting into a small crevice in the top of this pyramid. I think we have an image of this. In fact,
I don't need it.
No, you do. No, you do. Oops, there's a...
Oh, cool. That's real neat.
As the blowflies surround him, and you can't hear, but you see sort of the convulsions in his back that you understand that what's happening. And if you look close enough, you see a stream of a thick white fluid going into this crack in the top of the pyramid that seems to go on forever, for a full minute.
Oh, it's like what a bird does when it vomits into its children's mouth.
Is
Are
that
they
how it's feeding the god that's down there? That's trapped? That is in my vision. All the walls, like a big tidal wave of this stuff is like from the walls. Yeah,
I didn't see that in my vision, and
I
I'm
saw
very
a
thankful.
lot.
And now I'm afraid that we're going to see it in real life.
Uh-huh.
How do we have to seal this thing up? I just don't know how. Do we have to get down there where the gold is, or can we just do it from the top? Because I don't want to go down where all that mucus is.
Assume we have to put the thing in the place that it came from.
Yes, I guess it depends on where the gold thing is that goes into.
I think it's down the thing, past the skulls, down the tunnel, into the gold room.
As you continue to watch, the figure stands, and the engorged belly you saw from afar that looked like a very low-sitting pregnant belly is now flat, and the figure looks extremely gaunt.
I think Renee's like,
Once again.
maybe that's where your mule went.
Oh no, your mule! We were reunited in a sense.
As you watch, this process repeats as the one Kirasiri comes down from the steeped pyramid and the other one goes up. They wait for one another. And as they come back down, instead of leaving, you see a off to the left side, sort of the right corner of this enclosed wall, is the pyramid itself. And the far opposite corner of the square-shaped enclosure is just all you can see is darkness down what looks like a hole. And you see them drop into it.
Do I recognize that as the one I saw in my vision that leads you down?
You do recognize. You see a round shape, just one peeping out at the top of this from the angle that you're at.
I think we have to go down there. Hey, Larkin, what are you thinking we need to do now at this point, out of curiosity?
I think that now we will find our treasure, great treasures for each of us to behold. Things so beautiful and so rare. And of course, things that may be written about in papers for many years to come. The highlight of any a gathering of minds would be those that explored these ruins. As he turns to Renee, and Elias in turn tries to appeal to what might entice everyone most.
I'm sure our definitions of treasure are all very different.
That took surprisingly long to get Becca to say the word engorged this week. Oh, man. Okay. Well, someone call me out on how sexual my creepy descriptions can be. And I felt that. I felt very called out. Anyway,
hey,
do you
Larkin,
listen to Larkin?
How
Do
come
you
we
head
haven't,
down? Sorry.
How come we haven't seen Dame Mendoza in a while? Just out of curiosity about that, too. She has no answer. Good.
Sorry. I thought you were asking Becca. You asked.
Sorry. No, I'm asking Larkin. Hey, where's Dame Mendoza been?
Busy dubs, you know.
I may not have been my best self, but I do believe you told me that you killed him.
Oh, you remembered that.
Okay, cool. Fair enough.
I do believe you, of course, that he is one of the unsavories, the terrifying beings that lurk in these parts.
Renee looks at him like, oh, you believe us, and then looks at Elias.
He shrugs.
I mean, I guess we gotta go down there. Can I? Is being here with this gold piece in this location, and am I getting a sense of what I'm supposed to do with it, or am I just hoping to see like where it might go and put it? Like, am I getting any like new visions?
I'm gonna need an extreme power roll.
Okay. That means I need to roll an 11 or better. Nope. 36.
It's I mean, your intuition tells you that you saw a vision, and you remember when Renee touched it, she felt a powerful light. Powerful lightness, something that was pushing away darkness. So you sort of have that feeling with this thing strapped to your back, this gold object.
I'm going to say, Jennifer and Renee, please, huddle up.
Elias is like, what?
Okay, Elias, you too. Sorry,
I was just going to say we needed to talk about, but it's fine.
Should we, I'm just talking about lady stuff, Oh.
Well, if your menses talk, fine.
Yeah.
He looks at Larkin as if
supplies.
He's going to go commiserate, and then he's like, oh.
Do you think we should unwrap the gold piece and just have it out in the open and carry it in there, or should we keep it hidden? What do you think?
I would say maybe if we could keep it hidden from Larkin. But I don't know how to do that while also using it as like a
Evil be gone.
What?
Yeah.
And I'm also curious as to how Larkin would react to it as well. Like, would he not like it?
I mean, what do we need him for at this point? Is he helping us with anything?
No.
Just let us here. Think he has some connection to them. Want to figure out what it is, so no. Shove it in his face and see what he does.
Pull it out and see.
Oh,
Sometimes you just gotta experiment.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
maybe Miranda, if you led the way and sort of.
Or we
Had
could
it
have-
in.
You'd have him lead the way and then be behind him, and then he doesn't know we have it.
That is also a good idea.
You're very tall. You can hide a lot of things.
That's true.
Mhm.
That's true. All right. Okay. As he's going to lead us in, I'll kind of unwrap it a little bit and have it, but maybe with maybe a little, maybe he won't see it.
He starts to lead the way down the hill as soon as the other figures had disappeared down the hole. After, trying to convince you of the treasures that you'll behold once you reach there.
Yeah. Treasure,
Oh,
great.
yes.
Mhm.
Massive treasure.
As you follow
Very
him, he doesn't
excited.
feel a need to look back. He feels you behind him, so he doesn't see
Cool.
you pull out the golden item, ward, whatever you call it.
The magic
And-
stick.
And as you go down, head down, you find the gate, or would you rather hop over the wall into the courtyard sort of area? I don't know what you call it, inside the wall enclosing the pyramid.
Maybe the gate?
Gate sounds good.
All right.
right.
We're walking through the gate.
When you reach it, you see a carving on it. You see, holding in this wall, there are faces on a stone carving just above the gate of not exactly a human face. It's elongated and looks somehow in pain. As you open it and step inside, it's dust, gray-brown dirt. You see the pyramid slightly to the right ahead of you.
Mm.
And you see a series of stone slabs. I'm going to say there may be 4 foot by 4 foot stone slabs at various spots around this yard. And in the opposite corner of the pyramid is the hole you saw the figures drop down into. And there seems to be a large concentration of flies in that area.
Yeah. I bet. Is there anything on the stone slabs, symbols or writing or pictures or anything?
The ones in the ground? No,
Mm.
they're just gray stone.
Maybe just part of the pyramid that's like being weird. Well, do we want to drop down the hole?
If you'd like to look around.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe
archaeology,
Should we
which
look around?
I don't think anyone has, or a hard spot hidden.
I will give a hard spot hit and go. And does Larkin lead us anywhere, or does he go in a direction into the gate?
He starts clambering up the steps of the pyramid where you'd seen the other figures go. And as he reaches the top, he stays standing, but he sort of peers down the crevice and he yells to you, "In here! I think we need to get in here, but I don't know if this is the way. It's too small for any person to get in."
What qualifies as a hard spot hidden? Is that below the second number?
Yeah, just half.
I
Oh.
succeed.
Then I succeeded as well. I rolled a
I did
10.
Oh, amazing. Check it if you haven't already, but I believe you rolled a critical success already.
Yes.
Did anyone else succeed? Renee also succeeded?
Yes, I got a 16.
Perfect. So as the 4 of you look around,
Mhm.
Miranda, you did not succeed.
I did not. Nope.
You just start shuddering in fear as you know what's in that larger opening, gaping full with round objects peeking out, bits of
Skulls in
hair
there.
and flies.
It's like
You can't look
there's-
away.
dumping all the dead people in there.
As the other two of you start scouring the courtyard area, this field area outside of the pyramid, and you see these large stone flagstones, and together you devise that these look like tunnels, vertical shafts that perhaps go to a lower part of the pyramid. And you find one where the flagstone has been broken. And there's just a vertical shaft as you look down. You can't see anything inside. But we do have an image. Sure, now's a good time. Just a map of what you found. There, right there, number 3 is where you're standing. As you found this vertical shaft with the flagstone broken. As Miranda stands opposite corner, catty corner, depending on what part of the country you're from, catty corner from the pyramid is this gaping hole full of corpses.
There's going to be a lot of skulls down here. There's a lot of dead bodies in here. I think we're going to have to go in, though, right? Like, I should just dive in. I should just jump in right now.
No.
Larkin says, yes, jump. It'll be fine, my dear. Nothing to be afraid of. Just some death.
Pause for a moment on that thought. Renee and I seem to have found something.
Oh, I'll go over to where they are. What have you got?
A different way in.
Oh, okay.
Not the pit of corpses, hopefully.
Cool.
And in assessing where the various points of the flagstones of the other tunnels are, you can assume that if they all go straight down like this one does, that they all lead around the pyramid, as well as tunnels out to the one you're standing by, and the one that leads, there seems to be another tunnel that leads towards this shaft of bodies.
We do need to go through a tunnel to get to the room of gold that I saw in my vision. So.
And there seem to be less flies buzzing around this one.
Well, I mean, let's try it. Maybe they all probably connect, right? So.
This would also track with that maze of tunnels that they described.
Oh, yeah.
The tunnels have the carvings, so we just need to find the tunnel that has the carving that matches the... Just to find it. Hopefully.
Elias says, I'm happy to lower each of you down and then jump myself, or I don't know. Does anyone have any way to get down? Any good climbers?
Larkin, didn't you bring supplies, for doing an expedition? Do you got rope?
Why, certainly we do. Back at the pack mules.
Why you didn't think to bring that?
Oh, well... Certainly that would have been logical. Let's see if any of you did. Roll for luck. It's going to be the lowest score among all of your luck rolls. This is a group luck roll.
Nope,
I get a 4.
Ooh. Oh, that's better than my 22.
So lucky.
Sorry, what? I said lowest, but I meant highest.
Oh.
So we'll kind of take the average here. We'll be nice. What'd you roll, Renee?
54.
Okay, not a critical fail. Yes. Miranda, you remembered to bring the rope.
Oh, yeah, I had rope tied around my pack of supplies that was actually covering my gold bar. So, of course, I have rope. So I'll pull that out and we'll tie it to something and then stick it down the hole. And Larkin, are you going to come down here? Or are you going to do your own thing?
Yes, no, I'll be waiting here. I feel as though you'll do better without me. It seems, with my sickness, I wouldn't want to, vomit upon you and then have you vomit because I vomited and then we'll all feel sick.
Larkin, why don't I offer a solution? If you go down first, if you vomit, it won't land on any of us.
Right. Well, I'm not feeling particularly well.
Well, then we wouldn't want you to stay here by yourself, because what if something horrible happens to you and no one's here to help you recover?
And
How are you going to
besides,
get the gold, Larkin?
exactly. We can only carry as much gold as we can manage. How will
We're
we
just
know what you want from the
weak
treasures?
women. We couldn't carry all the gold that you.
Well, certainly
Look
you
at
are weak
these.
women. This is true.
And she's
It
bleeding
is.
profusely, so she might just pass out any second here.
Right.
So
Yes, I forgot that's a possibility. Really, I want. Yes, no, I will. You're right. You're right. I am the only one who knows how to identify what is truly treasure amongst us, and so, if you would, Sir Elias, he ties the end of the rope around his midsection, and you can probably tie it. There's not much to tie it to around here. There's like the broken flagstone that Elias ties the other end of the rope around, and then ties the middle of the rope around himself, and then the other end is tied to Larkin. Larkin lowers down into the hole. It's fine down here. Come on down. Oh yes.
Oh
You
gosh,
hear
I
him
just
take a
realized this
deep
means.
breath.
Oh, he's not right. Also, I've realized now that one of us has to be down there with him alone. Now, while we wait for the rest. Who wants to do it? I have a knife.
cracks Knuckles.
Oh,
I've got a gun.
so we're all armed. Fist, gun, and knife, dagger.
That's my favorite version of rock, paper, scissors.
Fist, knife, and dagger.
How about you fist knife and daggers for who should do it? Everybody roll a d6.
All right. I love it. I get a 3.
I got a 1.
I think you went
I got
high
a 2.
in this scenario, which I arbitrarily chose.
I guess high goes because I got a 3.
Yeah.
All right. Renee
You
goes.
rolled a 1, 2, 3. That's hilarious.
That's cute.
Fine.
All right.
Do this.
As you're in the tunnel, Renee, Larkin sees you kind of just hold up your dukes as you get down there in the shadow of this darkness.
Well, I thought I saw something behind you, but it's fine.
Right. He flicks on a flashlight that he pulled out of his pack.
Oh, Mandy.
I'll go next.
Right?
Go in order of rolls, I guess.
Sure. You drop down one by one, and Elias goes down last. As he does, the flagstone seems to be not quite his weight, and it sort of pulls down after him. He falls in.
Oh no, Elias.
Let's see what his skill is here. But he lands on his feet, and as the rock kind of half falls into the hole, it's caught on the edges up top on the corner. And he tests the rope. I think we'll be able to climb back out this way.
Okay, that's good. That was going to be my next question.
Yes.
All right.
It's only about 15 feet down.
Okay.
And each of you were able to put your feet against the wall and use the rope to lower yourself slowly.
Great. All right. Let's go this way.
I think there's only one direction.
And what's the stench situation down here?
How bad is it?
That is a great question. The smell of decay in these tunnels is overpowering. The air is filled. You hear the sound of the buzzing of flies, and you take whatever cloth you have handy and cover your mouths and noses. But I need everyone to roll for Constitution to see if you become nauseated.
Oh,
Rolled a 25. That's a hard
I'm just gonna
success.
retch. I get a 97.
You do, in
got
fact, retch.
42.
It's a success?
7. Yes.
Nice.
My con is 70.
My breakfast comes up.
Renee, second down in the hole, you see Larkin sniffing it in and saying, I feel this is the right way. There's much to be discovered here. As he sort of sees all of your reactions to the smell.
I fumble
Yeah.
for like some tin of like menthol or something that I probably have and just like shove it up my nostril.
Renee,
Yeah.
Retching.
may I as well, Renee?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I love it. Menthol up the nostrils,
It's
which
like-
you definitely got your reserves replenished from Naira.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. As you continue, there seems to be one way, based on your direction of where you know the pyramid to be. There's the left and the right, and to the left is the pyramid, which I assume you go towards. And it's slanting downwards at about a 60-degree angle. And as it starts to get towards the end of this ramp area, it gets smaller and smaller, and you have to get down on your knees and crawl for a bit to get through it. Larkin is leading the way with his flashlight in one hand, and doing so is very slow going. Can everyone please roll for dexterity to see how well you crawl against the sort of dust and the fragments of broken stone below you?
Just squeak a regular success with 48.
Amazingly enough, I rolled 16, which is a hard success.
Nice. Okay.
I
very
just rolled
dexterously.
another one.
These dice are insane. This game
They're so
overall.
good.
Okay.
You failed very little.
There are small clusters of stalactites hanging from the low ceiling where dripping water has left limestone deposits, and you're overwhelmed by the smell of decay, but you're beginning to get used to it at this point. And you reach an opening to a room where you can see a sharp horizontal line of light in the center of this room. You can see into this large chamber. The tunnels continue on either side of the chamber to the left and right, sort of separated by the walls of this inner chamber. Where would you like to go?
Toward where we see the light is?
Sure. You walk forward into the chamber where you're able to stand up. And
goodness.
in here, you look around a wide open room, perhaps used originally by the builders of this pyramid to fashion it as they were going, and you immediately stop as you see in the far corner the two Karasiri you saw enter. But they're motionless, laying down on the ground. As you look around the room, you see piles of gold, coins, jewelry, watches, just miscellaneous artifacts ranging from a 1920s Rolex, if that was a thing, to pre-Incan. Renee knows from her studies, and Miranda from your study of fine objects. Larkin rushes to one of the piles and starts filling his pockets and his bags full of gold and items. And he says, "Quickly, everyone, grab things. Let's get out of here, right? Grab the gold."
Well, some of this isn't even ancient gold, though, Larkin. Is this what you really are after?
We can take it to an appraiser when the time is right, but look at the riches before you. What are you doing, child?
Are you just completely ignoring those two unconscious individuals that are across the room that are like very clearly over there?
Hello? He calls out to them, and they don't stir. They are either dead or very drunk.
Doesn't concern you at all.
Do we
Well,
see any?
perhaps they'll get angry if they wake up, so perhaps we should fill our coffers faster. Elias kind of shrugs at you, and then he walks over to a pile of artifacts and starts gently picking them up and kind of in awe of their beauty. I mean, he's going more for the pottery and the things that look more ancient.
Do we see anything that looks like the ward anywhere in this room?
You don't in this room, but you do recall, as you were just outside the chamber and looking to the tunnels to your left and right, There was a glimmer of a thin something in the tunnel outside of this chamber. Something embedded in the wall.
I don't think what we want is in here. I think, and this is just like a dead end kind of a room, or is there more?
There is
Like
a
an
small.
exit.
There's a break in the stone in the opposite corner from you. It's a square room, and catty corner is also closest to where the sleeping Karasiri are.
Yeah, I don't think we should stay in here. I think we need to. And Elias, I don't think you should be taking any of this gold.
But I completely agree with you. I don't feel perfectly right about it, but well, what if this is just left behind gold? I mean, perhaps we could turn it over to a museum at some point. I mean, these items are stunningly beautiful.
Here.
What?
Then get the museum to come here and appraise it. You shouldn't be taking it.
Well, look, normally I would say honestly, take it if it looks real, like old and strange and unusual and fascinating. I normally would say yes, do that, but
He holds up a sundial made of pure silver, and he says, "This is so beautiful.
it is.
May I not take just this one thing?"
But I think the people who take things from this place might end up cursed.
I don't believe in curses, and I've already touched it. Wouldn't the curse, if it exists, already be enacted had I touched it?
I'm still here.
Well, what did the note say? What?
When they took stuff, they became vampires. That's what it said.
All right.
Jennifer's gonna turn to Miranda and say, "Do you want to go look at the other room with me?"
Yes, I do.
Elias
Renee.
reluctantly puts down the treasure he's holding and empties his pockets of the coins he'd grabbed and says, "Seems that the three of you know best," and
Thank
follows
you.
you out of the room. As Larkin just keeps filling up his pockets, he turns and he sees you and he starts to follow along as well.
This guy.
We're just seeing if there are any other rooms with better things in
Yeah,
them.
better treasure.
Excellent
And-
idea.
No other people either.
Yeah. So I guess we'll crawl back into the tunnel and look back at what we had noticed before is the thin.
Yeah, this is actually the tunnels veering around the outer chamber essentially are tall enough to stand in.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it was just the one to sort of the passage from where you'd come in was very narrow. So you can stand and you can start to go. Would you like to go to the left or the right?
Right. And unless anyone would like to go a different direction.
I have no reason to choose otherwise.
Yeah, unless we had like any notion.
As
But
you
I
walk
don't think we
forward.
If you held it like a divining rod, would it
Yeah,
like,
just like-
would it like direct you to like where it like it's like magnetized back to where it came from?
I mean, I feel like Dice already answered us, but if anyone would like to roll, let's just head to the right.
We'll head to the right.
Okay, we'll go to the right, yeah.
But I've got it.
You look ahead, you see a pile ahead of you. Does anyone else have a light source besides Larkin's flashlight? And behind you, there's some daylight streaming in just barely outside the main chamber.
Yes?
Sure.
Yeah.
You packed provisions.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like a thing
Flashlight.
Okay, everybody brought a flashlight. And as you shine it ahead, you see a pile of rags and sticks, other detritus. And who's walking first?
It's probably me. I'm probably leading the way with the gold.
As you
Dang.
step closer and closer to this pile, you see a body
Oh no.
wrapped in thin strips of decayed wool and cotton, wrapped around the torso, the head, the legs,
Oh no.
looking rotten and filthy. You can't truly identify them as any particular garments. It just seems like rags upon rags. Can
Do we
anyone?
recognize
Yeah.
the body?
I
don't know why we would, but I got real nervous for a second that it's like Elias or something. We're gonna be
You
like,
don't. No. He's right behind you.
the whole
He's,
time.
he's
You
safe
were
enough. And you may attempt a
It
spot
makes me
hidden
so
roll
paranoid.
right after you let another beloved NPC die.
Oh, no, 97. Wow, the dice have
rolled an-
decided.
I rolled an 80.
Yeah, we spot nothing.
Renee, your foot gets trapped in a break in the stone below you, and
It's like it gets trapped in a skeleton.
you sort of stumble and you fall and you hit your knee as your foot gets trapped, and you take 2 HP of damage.
That's a lot.
Owie.
Ow. Probably
Um,
like Renee yelps as she like smashes her knee. She's like, "Ow!"
I like swing around with the brandishing thing. Like,
Just me. I just fell.
all right.
sorry, did anyone have a success there?
No.
Okay.
No.
The body is badly decayed. Your friend has just fallen and is hurt. Do you continue towards it?
Yeah, I guess so. Renee, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Do you need to wrap your ankle or anything?
Yeah, and like takes her scarf and like compression bandages her knee or whatever. Like, it's bruised. I don't have any arnica.
Elias drops to his knees to help you as Miranda and Jennifer, you walk closer to this mummified figure. And as you shine your flashlights upon it, the eye sockets wriggle. Where there once was just blackness, a whiteness flashes across it, and an arm reaches out. Mummified arm reaches out and grabs Miranda by the ankle.
But I've got
Give me a
that
tempted
thing.
dodge roll.
Okay. I go, but I have this thing. This is supposed to protect me. Okay, I need to roll a 30 for a success. I rolled a 2.
You step out of the way just in time.
Ah.
As this thing slowly sits up and then struggles to come to its feet, but topples back down and starts crawling towards you.
Can I whack it with the gold thing?
This gold thing is 25 pounds, and you're not particularly trained in fighting with it. It's also strapped to your back.
Probably not.
You can try. Remember, you do have a dagger.
That's true.
strapped to your
Okay, if
thigh.
it's not like, if it's not like an easy thing to wield, then no.
It's definitely not. It's way too heavy to be easy to swing. You could try, but just getting it off your back is going to be a challenge.
Do we push forward or do we just run away from this thing? It's just crawling at us, right?
Yeah, it's crawling towards you.
I mean, I think Renee's instinct is stomp the skull. Like if it's like kind of crawling, she just wants to like go in and just drop kick the head.
Sure,
Like,
it's very slow, and you're able to jump to your feet by now. And I believe I still have your dexterities written down here. And Jennifer is the first that may make a move as this mummy that moved towards you, tried to grab Miranda, just keeps coming so slowly.
I'd probably shoot it.
All right. You
My
grab your
shotgun
shotgun. Pull it off and give me a firearms check for rifle.
Okay. It's the same situation when I roll percentile, correct?
For your firearms, it's just below fighting brawl.
24. And regular is 40.
Ooh.
You shoot this thing, and bits of fabric and rotten flesh that immediately whiffs through the menthol stuffed up your noses, comes flying at you. Give me a roll for your damage on your shotgun.
So I have 3 damages. So it would be 2d6, correct?
I would say, so this is based on range. Your shotgun gives you 2d6 for 10 feet. Where's this yards? I don't know. We can determine whatever we feel like. I think it's yards. You're within 10 yards, so that's going to be 4d6.
Wow. I guess that's like real life. If you're like point blank with a shotgun.
Not messing around.
Okay. What is the math? 14 points of damage.
This thing blows into bits of skull, bits of viscera that is long decayed and covered in flies and maggots, shoots all over. And as it's burst apart, a maggot wriggles out of its open chest cavity. But this maggot is like 40 times the ones that Jennifer saw crawling out of the mouth yesterday or days ago. It's like the size of a puppy dog, this maggot. And each of you must roll for sanity. Mommy, you expected.
So cute. For something
Oh,
so
I'm
awful.
sorry. This
35.
puppy's that. It's a loaf of bread.
I'm struggling. I failed that. I rolled a 49 and my sanity is 43.
I rolled a 28. So I'm good.
Sorry, I didn't hear. Renee, did you succeed?
Yes, I got a 35.
Okay, so let's see. As you see the larva slither out of this thing, you lose 3 sanity, Miranda.
Oh, it hurts. I go, okay, it's happening again. It's happening again. It's all happening again. Everything's falling apart. Why do I keep ending up in these messes? I don't understand what's going on. Everywhere I go, I see things coming out of people, lamps and shoes and maggots, and it's a giant maggot. It's a giant maggot. Everyone, there's a giant maggot.
As you're inconsolable for a moment.
That, Renee's like, giant maggots! Like her instinct is touch the maggot.
Punch the maggot. Excellent. Punch that maggot.
It's gotta be squishy. It's gotta be squishy.
This is gonna be disgusting.
Like we're both screaming giant maggot, and that is her instinct. All right, fighting brawl. I get a 5, like an actual 5.
Oh, amazing. All right. That's not quite a crit success, but I'm going to call it a crit success. So you're going to deal your maximum fighting brawl damage, which is 3, plus roll a D3. So a D6 divided in half.
I rolled a 6, so I deal another 3 damage.
You deal 6 damage to this larva, this giant larva. And
affecting maggots. I was ready.
Hold on, let me check. As you punch this larva,
botanist.
Oh yeah, it bursts into just gelatinous goo that also splatters all around you as Renee stands back up from her punch and wipes a chunk of it off her cheek.
I got it.
Yeah, I think you did.
Elias has his pistol out and it's sort of shaking in his hand. You know what? He needs to roll for sanity too. Well done, lady. I'm sorry I was slow to act there. I hope you'll forgive me. And
we got this.
As you stand up, look at the viscera and all kinds of ucky that are all around this tunnel now. There is this sliver of gold along to your left now as you went right down the tunnel, and you know the chamber's on the other side of this wall. And you recognize these non-repeating geometrical patterns. They seem continuous. And you see that the tunnel turns to your left at a sharp corner, right angle, right ahead.
Everyone,
Just
look,
ahead.
look! It looks like my gold thing. I think let's follow it and see if we can find the missing section. So I'll start to go and just be running my fingers along it as we're going, just to see and feel when we get to the part where maybe my piece fits in.
I'll follow with a torch.
You're using a British word for flashlight, is that correct? Just making sure it's not
Yes,
a
I'm
fiery
following with the torch. Yes.
It is a torch. It is a torch, of course. Just making sure there's not fire present, because if so, I don't know.
I didn't rip one off the wall.
Oh, it's fine. Excellent. Okay, so the five of you, including Larkin, who's following in the back, start going around the corner. You take the left, and you see this hallway looks pretty normal. The gold just continues unbroken, and then there's another right angle, and you keep going. As Larkin in the back of the party keeps saying, he's hugging the outside wall, you notice, and he keeps saying, yes. Take it. This looks excellent. Do we have a pick? Can we pull? This gold looks more valuable than all the rest.
We're not taking any of this.
Jennifer's looking at him and going, no. We're not touching this.
Take it. Take it. Take it. He starts kind of throwing a little tantrum behind you. You're welcome to ignore him. As you continue on, and as you take that next corner, and shine your flashlights, you do see the place where the gold is broken. The inlay is not as it should be, but also in this section of wall, you notice before you touch it, a milky white fluid dripping down from the ceiling all the way down a crack that is formed just right along. We have an image for this, right along
of course you do.
where it is broken. Where the gold is broken, also the stone wall behind it is broken, and that's where this milky fluid is pouring out, creating a puddle beneath you in the ground. And I'm gonna put it in chat just so if you want to look at it a little closer. You see this pool of filth ahead of you.
Gross. And then we have to get through we have to get through that to get this back into its spot, don't we?
Yeah, as you look closer, you can see that
the word is weakest.
Yeah.
The stone ahead of you on the ground, it's not just like a puddle. As you look closer, this looks like a deep pool. And as you look, you see what looks like creatures moving around inside of this milky liquid.
It's just maggot water.
And to put this back in, we would need to get in. Does it look like we could stand on the edge and lean and try and get it back in? Or there's no way you're going to have to get in the pool?
It is approximately 10 feet wide, which
Yeah.
means you'd have to lean 5 feet over. Given how tall you are, it's not entirely impossible, but
It would be.
So we can hold you as best we can.
I think, all right, plan. What if
This is flammable. I mean, fat burns.
we could try that? I was going to say I get in there and you just shoot everything that is attacking me as I'm trying to put this thing back in its spot. Or you could try and burn it first. That's not a bad idea.
We might end up shooting you if we did
Well,
that.
it's possible.
Great shot,
I only
Jennifer.
have 9 shells left, so I think it's best to reserve those in case any more of the series show up.
Yeah, okay.
as you say it, I'm going to assume that you take this moment to reload the one that's been shot, so you have a full 2 in the chamber.
Yes.
Does anyone have anything to try and light all of this on fire?
Flint, we needed it to start
a lighter?
a fire at our campsite, or
Elias says, I have something, and then he reaches in his pocket and pulls out a pack of matches that has the logo of the bar Cordoba.
Oh, good thinking. Knew your alcoholism would come into play at some point.
He tips his hat. Hey.
It's okay,
I
Elias.
have
We all
no idea
cope
what you're
our ways.
talking about.
All right, Elias, you want to chuck a match into that pool?
Maybe we should get something that'll last a little longer. So I think Renee reaches in, like pulls out a wad of gauze, and probably has some rubbing alcohol in her medical kit because that's very flammable. Like soaks it up, wraps it onto some sort of stick, and then is like, "You light this, then we poke it."
Sure. I don't know what kind of stick you'd have, but you definitely have gauze and rubbing alcohol. Yeah, maybe there's just some debris that has found its way, fallen through the hole of the chamber, and as you do so,
make like a thing and then set it on the ground, and then make like a trail of the bandages into the water.
Sure.
Water.
Okay. Elias says you do the honors
Molotov.
and hands you the pack of matches.
All right. I will take matches. I will strike it, and I light my faux Molotov cocktail on fire.
It lights up immediately. The ball of flaming gauze with a trail into the fat. You all watch as the flame slowly rides along it, and then as it reaches the pool of fat, immediately bursts into flame, all of it just catching at once, and huge flames spit up along with black smoke, thick clouds of it immediately pouring out and down either side of the tunnel. As you drop to the ground, each of you please roll for Constitution.
May not have thought this all the way through. Oh, 58. I just succeed on a normal success.
Can we use luck on these rolls?
For Constitution, yeah, you're not in combat, sure.
I rolled a 63, but I need a 60 to succeed. I could use 3 luck to make it a 60, unless I shouldn't, in which case then I fail.
I think you should.
Okay, I am doing it.
It's very packed up from smoke.
I rolled an 8.
Amazing.
Wow.
If only you could check it, but you can't. But all three of you are able to pass. Elias drops to the ground as well. He immediately takes the fabric that he was wearing around his neck from the heat and covers his face. The fire continues to rage as each of you crawl on your hands and knees back around the other corner. It continues to rage, and the smoke pours out each of the chimneys. But you're able to stage round, and it seems to be going out the opening in the chamber. And it finally smolders out after an hour of waiting in this chamber, worrying, thinking that your death is imminent. Finally, the smoke starts to dissipate and seems to be going out the uncovered chimneys. And as you peek back around the corner, you see a thick, tarry residue in the hole. And it's a deep hole, maybe 4 feet deep. But the fat has been burned out of it. And you see just a little desiccated remains of shriveled up if you look very close. You think they too might be larvae, 3 of them.
Gross. Okay. I'm gonna, I guess, climb in the hole and then see if I can reach up and put this back into its spot.
Yeah. It seems that filth and limestone has filled in this hole too much for you to just stick it in there. Give me a strength roll.
Surely that's good. Ooh, that's a 23, which is a hard success.
You're able to take the tools that you brought with you and hammer this bit of gold into place. All the while, Larkin is screaming behind you. He's furious as you do this. He says, "We must take more. Please take it. What are you doing? When did you break that?" And he attempts to jump on Renee's back.
Oh, no. This is not the first time a belligerent person has yelled and tried to jump on her back. She'll try to slam him against the wall.
All right. This is going to be a posed fighting brawl roll. I'll roll for Larkin as you roll for yourself as you slam him backwards.
Oh no, I get a 71. That's terrible.
He also fails. And now, Jennifer, you're the fastest. So what do you do as you see Larkin jump on Renee?
I don't think I'm going to shoot him. I'm going to hit him with like the butt of my shotgun.
Sure. Fighting brawl.
Can I use some luck on this?
Not in combat, I'm afraid, because the round will come back around to you. Then it goes to Miranda.
Well,
Miranda's a little busy.
I think I'm just gonna let them try and like keep him distracted while I'm still just trying to get the piece back into place as this is happening. I don't want to stop doing this.
Yeah. Renee, you were just having a counterattack, so now you have a chance to act on your own behalf.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna try and just like grapple him so that he can't go anywhere. Fighting brawl or something else?
Fighting brawl.
Okay. That is much better. I get a 23.
Yeah, you're able to grapple him. You wanna? He's literally on your back, and he's reached around and he's trying to choke you, but you're able to pull his hands off.
Yeah, no choking, choking,
no choking. And you could swing him to the floor. Just then,
yeah, that's
Elias.
what I do. It's just like throw him down. Maybe don't quite get him in the grapple.
Elias says, "We've had enough of you." He pulls out his pistol.
Elias.
And he reaches down. It's a .45 revolver. He cocks it and squeezes the trigger right just a few feet away from Larkin's head. And it misfires. And Larkin lunges towards him.
Bad Larkin.
Oh, no.
Larkin gets a chance to attack.
Elias.
But it's overpowered by Elias, who turns him over, holds him down as he's incapacitated, and you're able to do whatever it is you'd like to do in this chamber as Elias is holding him down. I think we probably should get out of here.
Yeah. So once I feel secure in the piece being in the wall, I think we should go. So I don't know if I need to do I need to, I think maybe it's in. I'll take my hands off of it and see if it stays and looks good.
As you stand back and take a look at the wall, it seems to have, before your eyes, where you'd taken your crude hammer and hammered the edges into place, you think you see the edges of gold seem to meld into each other. It just melts. Maybe it was the heat of the fire you just set, or maybe it was something else. Maybe some mystical purposes within the gold itself are knitting it back together. But you do see it seems as one. And the stone wall of the pyramid behind it seems to shrink just a bit closer together.
Okay, I think I got it. I think we're good. I think we should get out of here.
All right.
Let's go. I'll climb out of the hole and back over to
leave
Bruno. What do you want to do with him?
Oh. But what if he just takes it out again? Defeats the whole point of what we just did.
Good point. All right. Yeah, let's.
Do you need me to kill him?
I don't think so. I think we should just
He's still human? That would be murder. Murder's bad.
Yes, I'm very well aware, but he is also could be possessed. I don't know. You saw what happened.
Just then he starts saying, he looks up in Elias's eyes and he says, take the gold, take the weapons, take the gold, take the gold. And as he does so, his eyes turn black in the way you saw in the hotel room before. And it doesn't seem like it's Larkin here anymore. And Elias stands straight up, releasing him, and turns around, and his eyes look blank. You don't recognize this Elias. It's him, but there's something behind his eyes that's not right. As he walks towards the wall, and he takes a pick that had been hanging from his back pocket out, and he reaches.
Elias, stop.
He doesn't seem to listen to your words.
I'll tackle him. I'll
Okay.
go, as I'm doing, I go, Jennifer, shoot Larkin. And I'll tackle Elias.
Give me your strength roll. As Jennifer, give me your rifle, your firearms roll.
I will also probably be trying to tackle or like stop Elias too.
I rolled a 19. That is a hard success.
You are at such close proximity. Larkin didn't get up off the ground after where he'd been tackled, and you can just walk straight up to him. And if you're choosing to shoot to kill, you do so. Let's say you shoot him in the chest, perhaps. Renee, the two of you together, let's say without rolling, you're able to grab the other arm as Miranda grabs one. And even though Miranda is not able to get a good hold of him, you can. No. And Jennifer, as you take a deep breath and pull the trigger, the hole in Larkin's chest, his hands reach up to it. In the tattoo that you saw earlier, beneath the fabric of his clothing, it bursts with light for just a moment. And then he looks up at you and he says, "Thank you for releasing me from this prison." As the life fades out of his eyes, and Larkin lies dead on the floor of the pyramid tunnel. Elias drops his pick with a jolt backwards and blinks and shakes its head and turns to each of you and thanks to you as well. Says he lost his head for a moment and something came over him.
Yeah, it's called possession, and you got to start believing in some stuff. Let's get out of here.
We'll talk about that back in Lima. As the four of you take nothing with you except what you brought in. On your way out, as you peek into the chamber where you'd seen the two Karasiri lying on the ground, they don't look the same as they did. They look immediately as if they aged hundreds of years. They look just like bones. You can see even from the entrance as you go out, climb up the rope you came in, get back on your pack mules, back to Puno, back to Lima, and leave this place. Your bonds with one another are forever entrenched. As you know, you did good in the world this day, and each of you gains some sanity.
Whenever we all depart, I'm going to be like, Renee, obviously we will probably look each other up at some point. I'm going to say, Jennifer, if you're ever in Arkham or Boston, look me up.
I will, and if you're ever in Hampshire, be sure to look me up as well.
I will.
All right. As each of you, trade mailing addresses and or make plans to meet back up in Boston, you gain a D4 of sanity for killing Augustus Larkin and whatever lurked inside his soul, plus an additional 1d6 of sanity for that moment that he told you, thank you. And whatever it was that was controlling his soul, you were able to release.
I rolled 2 1s.
I rolled a 2 and a 1. Yeah, all of that, and I'm up to
Hey.
43.
Yes, I love it.
I would like you all to know. I have
But you restored
sanity
the ward. You restored the ward on the pyramid, and whatever ancient god was lurking inside it is held at bay for the time being. And as you saw the Kirasiri destroyed, you didn't hear any more reports in your time back in Puno and Lima on your way back to North America. And you may gain 1d8 of sanity for, you think, destroying the Kirasiri by restoring the ward.
Yes. 4 for that. I'm feeling very centered.
But thinking back to Naira's death and how possibly you may have been able to prevent it, you each lose 1d4 of sanity.
Oh, no. Now I'm going to roll real high.
I roll 3.
And as each of you board the steamer back to your respective homes,
I rolled a 4. I just lost it was a wash for Miranda. It was just a wash.
Hey,
great
adventure though. Great story.
4s in a row.
That's great. Gained 8, lost 4. I mean, Naira was for real, you know?
Well, for the D4, I rolled a 4. For the D6, I rolled a 4. For the D8, I rolled a 4. For the D4, I rolled a 1. So I gained 7 sanity.
You did
crushed it. You crushed it.
Wait, no.
Gained 12, lost 1. Love that.
11.
As each of you board your steamers and bid your farewells, a thought crosses your mind of where De Mendoza might be. Perhaps he's gone with the other Kirasiri, and yet part of you is not sure. And that is where we will end our adventure this evening. Wow, that was like the best timing that has ever happened on the show. Well done to our adventurers.
Creepy and gross, Becca.
I love it.
Oh,
But I'm feeling really good about it.
Oh, what a
Very
great
proud.
idea to burn the...
I was tipped off a little bit when you mentioned you're like, wait, like a flame torch? And the way you asked that question was a very GM way of asking a question of like, because I got to make something happen if there's fire.
damn. Well, you know, I have never been known for my subtlety.
Then I was also like, but also fat is super flammable. And it just occurred to me that that stuff is probably fat.
Ugh, so gross.
You put those things together, and I was very impressed by it. We're going to save this conversation for a quick after show that we will post on Patreon. If you would like to become a patron, head to patreon.com/goodtimesociety, and we'll post our what's it called? Not decomposition. Whatever.
Decompression?
Yeah. You know, our good feels after the show. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. We do the show every Wednesday night. And thanks so much one more time to our sponsor, Chaosium, who publishes this amazing scenario, which I followed basically word for word, read all the good passages directly out of this beautifully written scenario. Debrief. Thank you, Tanner and Nightcat. We will debrief, and you will see it if you are a patron. Thanks so much, friends, and thanks to JB, who is our amazing technical director. You don't see me fumbling for buttons anymore. It's beautiful. And before we go, friends, let's go around and shout out anything that you need to announce of things people should check out. And at the very least, of course, where they can find you on social media. Let's start with Paula.
Hi, I'm Paula Dimming. I make the board game sketch comedy Things Get Dicey, which you can find on Twitter, Things Get Dicey, or on YouTube. Just type it in. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's just under my name, @Paula Deming, Deming. Tomorrow, I have 2 cool things happening. One, a new series that I am doing for the YouTube channel Watch It Played has its first episode releasing on that YouTube channel tomorrow. It's called Table for One. I'm doing some solo board game playthroughs. So if you want to watch me do something actually kind of similar to this, I'm playing the Lost Expedition in a video tomorrow that's coming out on the channel, and that'll be fun. And also on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Paula Deming, again Deming. I am going to be playing at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time Meeples and Monsters, which is the AEG board game that is currently on Kickstarter. It's got like 1 day left, and I'm playing that with my best friends Matthew Jude, Nick Murphy, and Mike Murphy. I would love for you to join us on my Twitch channel tomorrow for that.
Tomorrow's Thursday. Okay, what time?
9:30 a.m. Pacific.
Awesome. Very cool. I really want to check out your new Watch It Played series because solo games are where it's at right now. Am I right?
Yeah.
Very cool. Erika.
Hi, I'm Erika Fermina. You can find me everywhere at A Style Pixie. That includes Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch, where I stream Monday through. Well, actually, my schedule shifted
Don't even
next
worry.
week, but
All the days.
I scream. I scream.
Ice cream.
Tuesday through Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific. And you can also find me Wednesday mornings, 10 a.m. for Girls Guts Glory, twitch.tv/Girls Guts Glory. And next week is our finale for the season. So it's kind of just, catch us on YouTube. And on Friday mornings at 10 a.m. Pacific, you can also find me on Aether's Walkway on twitch.tv/LaughLoveLindy, which is a sci-fi cipher system game where I play an alien mechanic.
Ooh,
Bird creature person. I
Bird
think that's
person?
everywhere you can find me.
Love it. And I'm sure on A Style Pixie on Twitter, they'll find all your announcements as well.
Yes.
Lauren.
Hello. I'm Lauren or Random Tuesday on all of the socials. You can find me there. I stream on my own channel. I YouTube. I make cosplay. Kind of just all over the place. Also, I make a game you might have heard of. It's called Magic Gathering. It's full no card game.
Cool indie
you
production. Little one.
You can find me on socials in general. Just hanging out. I feel like cosplay. I feel like people being weird, or sometimes I do other stuff in different places. Thanks.
Well, those are my amazing, beautiful guests. I'm Becca Scott. Find me here and on my channel, The Becca Scott. And we'll see you next Wednesday for more of the Calyx. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.